that shouldn't have been. If so, they need to be returned. It is also the case that the FBI and the Justice Department not continuing to engage to make sure that they got those documents back to their rightful place, if in fact there are documents down there improperly, by conducting a raid of the home of a former president is both unprecedented and dangerous for our republic.
Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, thank you so much for your time.
It's great to be with you. Thank you. Have a great day.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com.
I got Park Hill and West Valley covered on Tuesday.
At Marita's Pool Service, the current staffing plan doesn't hold water.
3 more neighborhood pools on the same day.
She needs more pool technicians to dive into work head first.
That's awesome, but now we're shorthanded.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now that the school year is underway, do you know how your child is doing in math? At Mathnasium, each student is provided with a customized learning plan based on an individual assessment. They'll get the live face-to-face instruction they need, either in-center or online, to accelerate their math skills and take on the rest of the school year with confidence. Join over 1 million parents who have trusted Mathnasium to give their children an edge in math. To learn more and to schedule a free consultation, visit us at mathnasium.com. Mathnasium, we're changing lives through math.
Home equity levels are up significantly, and as a homeowner, you're able to leverage your investment to access cash for the things you need. Maybe it's paying off debt or renovating your home, even funding college tuition, whatever you want, because it's your money. Just be sure you work with American Financing, America's home for home loans, because they provide free, no-obligation mortgage reviews, so you can learn about custom loan options before moving forward. No pressure, no upfront or hidden fees, just a simple conversation around your goals and ways to achieve them faster. It could mean up to $1,000 in monthly savings, plus tens of thousands long-term. If you start soon, you could skip 2 payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days when you call American Financing, 866-886-2026. That's 866-886-2026, or visit AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Columbo and Katie.
Governor DeSantis is sending Democrats a message after busing illegal migrants to this ritzy hotspot. We'll talk about this with Gabe Pfeiffer at 2:10 and get the weekend weather forecast at 2:45.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Vision Marketing and Promo is your one-stop image shop. Signs, banners, embroidery, print services, apparel, promotional products, and more. Just 2 blocks from 370 and Elm Street, Vision Marketing and Promo is fast and convenient, and our experts can help guide you through. Vision even offers customized graphic design to bring your ideas to life. Call today at 636-400-1500 or come see us at 3734 Elm Street in St. Charles. Vision Marketing and Promotions. Success starts with vision. Summer means you're constantly on the go, so let Steph's Pizza make mealtime simple and good. Dine in, pick up, delivery, even DoorDash. Steph's Pizza is known for great pizza, but they also have pasta and more. With 4 locations in St. Peter's on Jungerman, on Elm at 370 in Zumbell, on Winghaven Boulevard right next to MasterCard, and in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com and simplify your summer meals.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here. Well, it's summer and Hanson's Tree Service has got you covered for everything that you need to continue to beautify your homestead, your landscaping, and everything there too. You can purchase organic mulch in bulk from Hanson, saving on price, time, and it's convenient. They'll take care of everything around your homestead regarding tree and stump removal, pruning, green waste recycling, plant health care. You got oak trees or ash trees that need service, Hanson's will take care of that as well. 24/7, HansonsTree.com, HansonsTree.com.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent extremism.
Called half the country fascists and extremists.
We're in a battle for the soul of this nation.
The soul of America is not the ruling class in Washington.
What happens next?
The Biden agenda, try to buy votes.
Happens right here.
Republicans are going to win landslide.
Everybody wants to do.
We've got a story to tell. We're going to go out and tell it. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Trump signs off I can assure you that what you will observe is a vast wasteland.
Stay tuned to hear more history as it unfolds before your ears. It's the audio archives of Fox News Talk.
Tom Brady, you can never bet against him. When does age ultimately catch up to him?
He's Benjamin Button over here.
You just don't see a decline in the skills. The way that's stopping Brady over the years have been the teams that can rush the passer.
Cam Jordan, Demario Davis has had Tom Brady's number.
I feel like the Saints are loaded, and they could be a real surprise team.
A huge day of football kicks off Sunday at 1 Eastern on Fox, home of Super Bowl 57.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Friday, September 16th. I'm Gary Baumgarten, and this is the Fox News Rundown. More details on the funeral for Queen Elizabeth II have been released. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has the story.
Today marks the second full day the Queen will lie in state at Westminster Hall, with thousands continuing to line up and file past her coffin. This evening in London, the royals will stand vigil there. Also happening, a visit to Wales by King Charles III and Camilla the Queen Consort. It's the final visit to all four nations of the UK. About 2,000 people are expected to attend the Queen's funeral on Monday, which will begin at 11 a.m. local time, 6 a.m. Eastern time. A 2-minute period of silence will be held throughout the UK as the Queen's funeral ends. Then a committal service is set for St. George's Chapel, where she will be laid to rest. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
A bipartisan coalition of state attorneys general have written to President Biden, imploring him to declare fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. The AGs say if Biden can't call it a WMD on his own, then Congress should pass a bill saying so. Today, sheriffs from across the nation, including several who just visited the border, hold a news conference with members of Congress, as well as fentanyl activist Virginia Krieger. I'm Gary Baumgarten on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
If you are on Medicare, you need to listen to this message. Open enrollment for all Medicare participants starts October 15th. This is a very critical time of the year for you to make needed changes to your plan.
This is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. Regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively. Find us on the web at mbhealth.com.
MB Health can also help small businesses find the perfect medical coverage for their employees. That's mbhealth.com.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hey, Columbo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, including braces. Dr. Boscia uses the My Forever Smile Braces system, which straightens teeth many times in less than a year for half the price of traditional braces. Traditional braces or Invisalign can cost $6,000 or more, but Dr. Boscia only charges $29.98 for My Forever Smile, and incentives and insurance can lower the price even more. Plus, New Creation offers in-office financing. Learn more at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Have you been floored? Not until you've gone to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Save money and get quality at Michael's. Plus, your installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Listen to this noise coming out of the White House.
Live and local.
We need to get the message to people who are not being helped by Democrats.
Ron DeSantis showed people the back of his hand.
This is News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, I am excited about a new streaming platform called VidGo. VidGo gives you the freedom to be entertained at a price you can afford. VidGo has all of my favorite live sports networks. They have a great choice of news. All of that for $59 a month. You deserve the freedom to be entertained at a price you and your family can afford. Please go to VidGo, VIDGO.com/Bill to check it out. On this Friday, a lot of people, and you know some of them, live in an echo chamber. That is, they will only listen to people who tell them what they want to hear. The word for this, word of the day, is obsequious. If you tell someone at work or anywhere else what you think they want to hear, you are being obsequious. And that's not a good thing. You don't want to be a butt kisser. But the people who demand that, who have to have everybody agreeing with them, or they get angry, or they won't listen to you, they are a big problem in this country because we need robust debate. We need to seek information from all quarters. I mean, I like talking to people that disagree with me. I want to hear what their argument is. And you know that I'll shred that argument if it's not logical or fact-based. And those people talking to me know that too. So some of them don't want that. They want to live in the echo chamber. They don't want to have to explain themselves, especially when some of their beliefs are insane. But living in an echo chamber, and this is important for children to know, will not advance your intellectual capability. And that's important in America. Now this. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you could trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid 90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
News, analysis, opinion. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Obviously, the biggest news of the week is that Mark Mantovani is going to be on the ballot against Sam Page for St. Louis County Executive, which has an effect throughout the entire region. Hey, good morning. I'm Mike Ferguson. Happy Friday to you all. A lot of media quick to dismiss this campaign as not winnable. they admit Sam Page isn't particularly popular, but no, he just can't be beaten. Is that really the case? We had a really, really engaging conversation with Jane Duker about that on Thursday's show. Here's how Jane assesses things. Now, I say this is fascinating because Mark Mantovani has earned a large number of Democratic votes before, obviously in the Democratic primary. And now that he's basically borrowing the Republicans' ballot line, you've got an interesting dynamic as to whether or not Democrats still like him because of, the reasons they voted for him before, and whether the number of Republicans in the county are going to accept him. So there's a lot of moving parts in this race right now.
Yeah, it is fascinating. First time I've ever been to a Republican meeting because I went and and I was, I just wanted to make sure that hopefully they finish what I started, which is to get rid of Sam Page. But I thought it's a very strategic decision because I think Republicans were very aware that they don't have the numbers. It's 60-40 in the county. And so to get someone that could get crossover votes would be the only way that they would win. And I think county Republicans are starting to become like city Republicans, where they are like, if you don't play in the Democratic primary, you don't have a voice in your government. And I think that this also recognizes that they know that, look, someone who's probably really, really, really to the right is just not going to win. So I think Paul Berry last time got about 42%. So Mantovani will start with that. You give him 3-4%, independents, and 5-6%, 7% Democrats, he wins. So I mean, it's not crazy. It's a pretty strategic decision, and I think Page has really got something on his hands right now, and he's going to have to spend his money. He's going to have to campaign, and if he doesn't, I think he's at real risk.
Jane, this is Susie. How do you think Mantovani threads that needle by holding on to Republican votes of people that recognize that he literally just switched for this race, and still appealing to Democrats that aren't necessarily Sam Page fans? How does he thread that?
Well, it's interesting because so I was at the meeting, and when they were voting, they put all the the audience and press and everybody had to go outside, and we were all outside the door when they were talking, and there was a gentleman there, and he was a Greitens voter, a Pinner voter, and he was frustrated, saying, Mantovani's just a Democrat. This is crazy, and there's no way this is going to happen. And one gentleman was trying to say to him, hey, he's got a lot of Republican values, even though he's a Democrat. He ran to the Democrat. He really is more toward a Republican. Finally, I just looked at the guy and said, dude, are you really going to vote for Sam Page?
Well, because
and he just looked at me, and I said, okay, so get over it. It'll all be good. I think that's where people are. I mean, I think that their hatred for Sam Page is greater than whatever differences they may have. And I think it's really strategic on behalf of Republicans because issues like abortion, guns, things like that, those are things that have nothing to do with county government.
Exactly. Yes, I absolutely agree. And Jane, I'm glad you brought that up because the strategic aspect of it, that's the thing is, is the pressure going to be on Democratic voters? Is the messaging going to be, no, you vote with the guy with the D behind his name, whether you like him or not? And then Republicans are saying, well, this is a guy who was a Democrat up until 2 minutes ago. But you look at the destruction Sam Page has brought on the county. I mean, the numbers are there. The county's literally lost population. The hostility to businesses, has people moving their investments into other places. So when you talk about like that voter right there, that guy, because there is a movement in the Republican Party, and in some areas I'm for it, that says, no, make sure you get somebody who has the ideological values, but the Republicans don't have that. But can Mark Mantovani actually beat Sam Page? Because we've already got media trying to say, oh, well, it'll be more interesting, but it can't happen. And I'm not sure that it's impossible. I think Mantovani can, if people vote strategically, I think he can win.
I do too. And I think, again, I think Republicans are being trained, like they've been trained in the city to say, look, we have to be more strategic if we want to say. And when you look at things like competence and, he not raising taxes, trying to create businesses and jobs, trying to get crime under control. I mean, conservative and moderate Democrats like me are very disaffected by Sam Page. I mean, we're not being heard at all. And I think there are a lot of moderate Democrats who are frustrated with the Page administration, the corruption, and I think just like, Republicans will switch. I think Democrats will say, you know what? I know this guy. I'm not sure his positions have really changed, especially on issues of competence and crime and jobs, that they can stick with him. And, he's got $2, $3, $4 million behind his name because he's run twice.
I follow you very closely on Twitter, and I also follow Jeff Smith, and I love watching the two of you expound on your various ideas and stuff about politics. And right off the bat, he basically predicted a 25-point loss for Mantovani. And I asked him what he based that on, and he was just talking about the difference. And I think he was looking at it from a purely Republican versus Democrat vote.
That's not maybe even 25 points.
Right. Well, and so I was curious about that, but I know you know him too. So I was curious. I mean, you've kind of laid out, but how does Mark Mantovani really overcome that gap and really pull together the coalition he needs in order to actually mount a win?
Well, I mean, Paul Berry, who, I don't think could get Democrat votes at all.
Right.
Got like 40 or 42% against Page. So, if Republicans just hold what they and there were Republicans who wouldn't vote for Paul Berry.
Sure.
So
you could not pay me to vote for Paul Berry. But anyway, go
exactly.
ahead. Yeah.
So and he got 42% of the vote. So I mean, I think Mantovani can start right there.
Sure.
And here's another thing. And so one, you get independents like you, and I mean, let's say he gets 3% of them and he gets up to 45%. All Mark has to do is hang on to 6, 7, 8% of Democrats. It's not impossible. And I also think frankly, unlike a lot of other states, I think that I'm not sure Democrats are really enthused about anything on the ballot. Republicans are coming out for Eric Schmidt. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
And they're coming out because of control of the Senate. I think Democrats realize Trudy Bush has you want to talk about a 20%, gap. There could be one there. I mean, in the state of Missouri. So, I think the enthusiasm gap could go with the Republicans. There's nothing really bringing Democrats flowing to the ballot. Here's another interesting statistic. And Jeff works with the Page administration a lot, so that could have something to do with it. But in the primary I was in, there was about 107,000 votes. When Mantovani ran against Stenger, there was about 184,000 Democrats who voted. That's how much of a drop off of Democrats there were. This was very, very low turnout for Democrats in a Democratic primary. And some, I think, and I don't think it's crazy, attribute that to Page's unpopularity. And they were like, well, they don't know her, so they just don't vote. Page's problem with that is, one, there may be that much dropout because Democrats are not that thrilled with him. And two, but they know Mantovani probably better than they knew me.
Yeah, because he's been on the ballot a couple times.
Right.
I know that I'm a little heavy on the thing, but I want to ask one more question. We're visiting with Jane Duker. First of all, I'm cracking up that there's somebody who said that they thought you were a Republican because that cracks me up. That somebody would say, Jane Duker, you're just a Republican. That's somebody who's not paying attention on there. Okay, so then from where we are right now, obviously this is a referendum on Sam Page, and I am convinced that center left and many Democrats dislike Sam Page as much as everybody else, but there's a pressure to be loyal to the party. Understand that. So what's the messaging? What does Mark Mantovani need to be basing his messaging and basing his campaign on? Because we're talking about one of the shortest campaigns we're ever going to see for a big office. So what does that need to do to not alienate those skeptical, very conservative Republicans and still keep that, at least that 10, 11, 12%, if not, 6, 7, 8%, enough Democrats to say, yeah, I voted for this guy before, I'm going to vote for him again. How does he thread that? What does he say? What does he base his campaign on?
Well, I think he sticks with, like the people that I got, which is crime is the number one issue, creating jobs, not being hostile to business, saying we're not playing the cultural wars on county government time anymore. We're just going to make the trains run on time. Not, having his staff, get indicted, not having his staff, having sex tapes 10 feet from his desk. The basics, getting along with the council. Sam Page can't pass a bill in Jefferson City. Mark Mantovani could go to Jeff City and talk to legislators. Sam Page can't even get 4 people on the county council. I think those are the normal things that people want to hear. They want to hear that money's going to be spent for the greater good and not to cronies. I don't think it's that hard.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
St. Louis, it's Joe Pags. Proud to be part of the News Talk STL lineup. Every weeknight from 7 to 10, we'll get together to talk about what's going on. News, analysis, opinion. You won't hear anything like it in St. Louis. The Joe Pags Show, every weeknight at 7 on News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, Karen Cataline. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Vic Porcelli.
One more thing about the raid, and then we'll move on. They said that Biden did not know about the raid. Wait a minute, you two. Stop it, both of you. He didn't know about the raid. That doesn't mean they didn't tell him about the raid. He just forgot. He forgot. There you go.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Hey, folks, here's great news for active aging seniors. The Kanega Watch, the only medical alert smartwatch with built-in fall detection. Yeah, the Kanega Watch is much different than the other guys. It's a stylish, discreet watch you can wear all the time. Get help through the watch in one of 3 ways. Your voice, pushing the watch's alert button, or have the fall detection connect you to a U.S.-based 24/7 monitoring center who'll speak to you through your watch and can send help to your GPS location nationwide. And get this, it can do that even if you're not responsive. This is true 24/7 peace of mind for you and those that love you. Order your Kanega Watch with a full refund 30-day trial period. Call now, 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. That's 800-413-7152.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic rights and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday, Mike.
Is it bad? I'm already looking forward to my nap after the show.
No, you're all right.
Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'll just admit it right now.
I'm looking forward to nap too.
Right, different nap.
Different places and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Caddy, Rachel.
Right.
Okay. Afton and Richmond Heights, separate. Okay. Anyway, it is 5:52. I'm Mike Ferguson. That's Ken Williams. Okay, so three things I'm seeing right now that's kind of driving my mindset for what we're talking about today. Liberals are bemoaning the cruelty, the inhumanity of sending illegals to their neighborhoods. That's what's cruel.
Oh yeah, dropping them off
right,
and nowhere to go.
Right. Yeah. So we've got a variety of viewpoints on that. I'd love to know what people think. And it's interesting because you're seeing some of the fringe libertarian starting to side with the liberals on this, the Reason magazine types that are saying, how can you be a Christian and support what Ron DeSantis is doing? I'm like, oh, it's pretty easy. I'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. Also, will Missourians finally get that tax cut from the special session? I've got an update on it. Spoiler, you're probably not going to be happy about it. Also, the media says, try that again. Media says Joe Biden is suddenly more popular.
That's what they're saying.
Like that.
Yep.
That's
the narrative that they're going with.
That's what they're going with. That's their story. They're sticking to it. So we'll get your thoughts on that as well. Okay, so this is interesting. Pine Lawn in North County. They could be searching for new police protection here. So what's happening is apparently Pine Lawn's not really good about paying their bills on time to the North County Co-op. And so Chief John Buchanan says the payments from the city have been inconsistent. They've been insufficient. Basically, they're behind on their bill to North County Co-op. And so the co-op says, listen, you fall behind, we're just going to drop you. You're going to have to find another way to have police service for your citizens.
Now to make sure I understand this, is it a combination of city police officers?
It's kind of pooling police officers, and they call it the co-op. I mean, so if you're up in North County, you'll see the police officers, North County Co-op police, cooperative.
And I've seen them because I used to work up there, but I just never understood the collaboration.
Yeah. So this is bad enough work because they don't want to go public with these things, but they've made it clear. So they said that they will transition into something else. So Pine Lawn can either create its own police force, or they can contract with, for more protection from the county police, which will probably end up what happening is the county police is going to have to put more resources there, which means they'll have to take it from somewhere else, or they can pay their bills.
Yeah,
that's another option as well, because North County Police Cooperative is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 7 or 8 small towns as well. So if you live in Pine Lawn, you could be seeing some changes when it comes to police protection. That's an interesting thing. I'm gonna keep an eye on, see what happens, because Pine Lawn just needs to step up. And pay their bills. I mean, that affects everybody else, because what happens is the other cities then have to they simply have to carry more load when one community is not paying its part of the cooperative.
One of the basic tenets of a city is to protect its people.
Right.
And they need it.
It's what's called a basic essential service. I mean,
Right.
Fire department, police department, ambulance services. I mean, these are things that are all built into your city budget. So that's an interesting development, but apparently it's been happening for quite a while. So that's where that is.
Maybe an audit's in play. Should be in play.
Yeah, that's something that typically will follow when something like this happens. All right, a judge in Florida has appointed a special master. So we actually have an update and a special master appointed to review those documents taken in last month's FBI raid on former President Donald Trump. Rich Edson for Fox News has the update.
Retired Judge Raymond Dearie, the former chief judge of the U.S. District Court for Eastern New York. In addition, Judge Aileen Cannon denied the Justice Department's request for more than 100 classified documents to be turned directly over to investigators and not the special master. That's a setback for federal prosecutors' investigation into Trump's handling of the seized material.
All right. The judge has a deadline of November 30th for the special master to complete the work and go through all of those documents.
In any other era, I would like to know. I would not care about his political leanings, but these days I really am interested in finding out what they are.
You talking about the judge?
Yeah,
yeah, and all we know is who appointed him. I mean, that's all we really know about the judges, but that tells you something about it.
Yeah.
All right, Missouri legislative special session. The lawmakers have headed back home for the weekend. No tax deal yet. I got some more thoughts on that a little bit later on in the program. They are going to be back next week. And I'll just tell you right now, Senator Bob Onder is going to be with us on Monday to give us his take on what's happening. He's frustrated, and I think he's absolutely right to be frustrated. Quick update on the race for St. Louis County Executive. John Danforth getting involved and says he endorses Mark Mantovani. So I'm going to ask the question a little bit later. Does that really make a difference? Well, it's going to make a difference probably on money. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll go over that as well. Also, Cardinals unfortunately lost to the Reds last night, 3-2. Reds actually were on a 6-game losing skid, so they broke that. Same two teams play tonight at 7:15. That game is at Busch Stadium. By the way, we're going to meet the NewstalkSTL's newest host at 8:05.
JT.
JT is going to be on the program.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
The Range St. Louis West is all about safety. That's why training is a critical part of what we do. No one wants to be in a situation where seconds count, but help is minutes away. But if that day comes, are you ready? No matter what your firearm experience level is, we have courses and instructors that can help. The Range St. Louis West is the area's premier training facility, shooting range, and all things firearms retail facility. Check us out online at therangestl.com or stop by and visit with our professional staff. The Range St. Louis West. Are you ready?
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. That's 800-399-3701.
KLTY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Howls of protest from the White House as a couple of Republican governors do what they can to respond to the wide open southern border, the free flow of people and drugs into the U.S.
In the latest protest of Biden administration border policies, Texas Governor Abbott sent 2 buses of migrants to the Washington, D.C. home of Vice President Harris, and Florida Governor DeSantis had 2 planes carry migrants to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. The White House denounced the governor's action as a cruel political stunt. But Governor Abbott said the administration continues ignoring and denying the historic crisis at our southern border. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Former federal judge and prosecutor Raymond Dearie appointed by a Florida federal judge to review documents seized by the FBI in the Mar-a-Lago raid. He has until November 30th to determine which materials, if any, qualify as privileged information. Former President Trump telling the Salem radio network he does not think he'll be indicted over records seized in the Mar-a-Lago raid.
There's no reason that they can do that. And I'll tell you what, I would have said there's no way they can raid a house either because, it's Fourth Amendment stuff. And what they did is terrible.
The former president telling Hugh Hewitt the raid on Mar-a-Lago was clearly unconstitutional. Mr. Trump, who has hinted strongly at another run for the White House, will hold another rally this weekend, this one in Youngstown, Ohio. Uber says it has contacted law enforcement officials after a hacker apparently breached its network, getting access to crucial systems of the ride-hailing service. The flood of grief over the death of Queen Elizabeth, forcing the British government to call a temporary halt to people joining a miles-long line to file past her coffin in London. On Wall Street, Dow futures are down 202 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, Dennis Prager here with some information on a new product that's quite fascinating for staying healthy, Cofix RX. Everybody's been in the situation the person next to you is sniffling or even coughing. Wouldn't it be great if you had a way to minimize airborne viral threats? To reduce your chance of getting hurt, you wear a safety belt when you're driving, and to limit sun damage, you wear sunscreen on the beach. Cofix is just like that. Cofix is a providone iodine-based antiviral nasal spray that helps keep you protected from airborne viruses. With Cofix RX nasal spray, you'll target colds, flus, and other viruses right where they breed, in your nasal cavity. Cofix RX should be in everyone's pocket, purse, or medicine cabinet. Visit Cofix RX, that's COFIX.RX.com for a doctor, pharmacy, or health food retailer near you, or use the coupon code Prager for 20% off at Cofix RX.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
There was an incident westbound on 44 downtown, right in the depressed section with one lane blocked. Looks like they just about have that wrapped up, but you do have a bit of a backup from about Washington. That's on westbound 44. That is our only delay at the moment. Things still look pretty good. This report is sponsored by Blindster. Need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install. They're guaranteed to fit, too. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman, and that is the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid 90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by The Dental Link. Call Dr. Alan Link today, 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville, 314-794-6464.
Blue Oyster Cult, live in concert. One of the most iconic bands in classic rock. Blue Oyster Cult with special guests Mark Farner's American Band and Head East. Tonight at 7, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
Get ready, because here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute to the Beatles. Entertainment Tonight says seeing the Fab Four is just like seeing the Beatles. Hey Jude. The Fab Four takes you through the 60s with the music that changed our lives. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Saturday, October 1st at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. This is what's happening.
The rich will continue to be rich and the poor will continue to get poor.
California's electrical grid is already terribly overburdened today.
News, analysis, opinion.
It's cool to be woke until it's not.
This is News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy? Wow, you're really pumped about this.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
The best answer to the toxicity of the left is the truth.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
We're in one of those situations now in the news cycle where you just kind of say, are you all listening to yourself right now? So 620, Susie, here's what I'm looking at. We're going to compare the perspectives on the illegal immigrants being sent, Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., Martha's Vineyard, which, wow, that is a whole new level. Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is.
It's a boss move.
It is. And, of course, the argument now from the president and others is that this is cruel. This is inhumane. This is unchristian. They're flailing to throw a fit. And I always try to think not so much, okay, so what do the dedicated, conservatives or libertarians or whatever, and conservatives and libertarians, this is an issue where we'll disagree. When you look at, the libertarian, I refer to myself as a conservatarian, right?
Right.
And the libertarians, where libertarians are wrong, they're really, really wrong. Just like some areas where I think when conservatives are wrong, they can get pretty wrong.
Sure.
Libertarians are really wrong on immigration, I think, personally. And I'm not even talking about the Libertarian Party because that's irrelevant. I mean, just like
You're talking about small L
small L, libertarians, which I think who are right the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They just get this one really, really wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think they appreciate the importance of national sovereignty.
I think I always wanted to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk about the small L libertarian, you're kind of talking about an independence in a way.
Sort of. I mean, you get people who may be involved in that party, but you're talking about people who are also in the, the small libertarians who work in the conservative movement or in the Republican Party. You got your Republican Liberty Caucus. You got the folks who maybe are, and I'm subscribed to Reason Magazine, and there's a lot of great stuff in Reason Magazine. And I think you've got a movement that sometimes is just free markets based, but other times, frankly, more libertine lifestyle based.
Yes.
And so I think that there is, a subset of the right, although they do kind of like hold hands with the left on occasionally on some issues as well. So that part of it is where I just think that they get it wrong, but I do think they get things right more times than not.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that at 6:20. And some of the responses are just, it's funny. It's a serious situation. So I don't want to laugh too hard, but we're going to laugh a little bit at it.
I think my more to the point today might have something to do with that too.
Excellent.
Oh, that's great.
Good time.
And it is Friday, so we can
That's right.
we can laugh at it a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Absolutely.
And 314-912-1019. Now you're starting to see, it's kind of funny because I'm starting to see some like smaller libertarians, saying, how could you call yourself a Christian and support this? I'm like, well, first of all, I happen to know the people who are saying that aren't Christians.
Right.
So they always pull out that card when conservatives pick up something. But my thought is always, okay, what do the people who aren't partisan? Who are the people who aren't going to go and seek out MSNBC or Fox News or NPR or NewstalkSTL? The people who are going to show up to vote, but the people who aren't partisan, what do they think? And my gut says, and that's all I've got, nothing scientific whatsoever. My gut says is that they're saying, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is a problem. And the left wants to chastise everybody for thinking that way.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't follow their narrative and what they wanted them to do.
So 6:20, we'll talk about that. By the way, Paul Kerman's going to be with us on 6:35.
Fantastic.
But speaking of, my gut reactions, I don't have anything scientific. I have been critical of polling. Okay. And if you want any recent evidence, remember that neck and neck race we had at the U.S. Senate.
Boy, that was
primary.
A real nail biter.
I mean, it was Eric Schmidt and Vicky Hartzler and Eric Greitens.
Neck and neck.
Surveys showed Eric Greitens was on the move and about to take the lead on election day. At one point, Vicky Hartzler had a few points lead. Eric Schmidt was in first place. Then he was in third. Well, it turns out that Eric Schmidt won by a couple touchdowns, basically.
Right. He lapped the other. I mean, they combined their combined their totals, and he still beat them.
But polling kept telling us it was a neck and neck race. So we're seeing that over and over and over and over and over again, which is why I say, one, I don't do polling as a topic, except for right now. And I don't take it seriously at the moment. I think it's more manipulative than it is reflective.
Well, it is, and I think it's a tool that the media uses, and they've been using since at least, well, I know they've been using it for many decades, but
I'm showing the camera. I'm showing the camera.
I thought you were showing me. I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm showing the camera here what I'm about to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But back in 2016, the night before the election tallies were totaled, and then we were revealed who was the president. Mm-hmm. It was a 97-3 chance that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So, there we are. That explains it all.
So I found an article in The Hill, and I'm seeing it in several other places too. Susie, I'm sure you're seeing these as well. Biden approval rating jumps from 36 to 45% in an AP poll. Suddenly it jumps 9%, almost 10% jump, just like that.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good step. Just like that. Out of nowhere, the poll found Biden's approval rating sits at 45%. So almost half the country says this guy's kicking ass, man. This guy's doing a good job. So just reading the article, the poll found Biden's approval rating sits at 45%, a spike of 9% points from July. While Biden's approval rating is still lower than it was for much of his first year in office, the AP poll is the latest survey to show more voters are happy with his performance. Does anybody actually believe that?
Yes and no. I mean, keep in mind, we're talking about opinion polls, not candidate polls. This is
Mhm.
just, do you approve of what he's
Right.
doing? And on any given week, if the news for the Biden administration is not so horrible, you might catch people that are like, yeah, he's doing all right. That's sure, whatever. I mean, right now, gas prices have come down a ways, and people are cognizant of that. And, they have had a few wins. I don't consider them wins, but legislative wins that they're touting. So I can see that, but you're just talking about people's momentary sentiment. It's not. I don't know. The only stock I ever put in polls, whether they're opinion polls or candidate polls, is look at the trend lines. Over time, what differences do you see? This might just be a spike.
See, and I'm just at the point where I just discard polling altogether at this point until the polling industry gets better and gets more objective and tries to measure. I think you're right, Ken. I think they're trying to create the results.
Yeah, that's the absolute tool. But I think also, 20 years ago, people did follow polls very heavily. Today, there are still people I think I agree with you on part of that, Susie, where there are people that just look at polls and go, oh, wow, because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But more and more, I think people are getting engaged. I think the more you start to lose money in the stock market, with the more that you have to pay for food and gas, I think you start to go, maybe I should be paying attention to what these polls are about. And this time of the season, I think people are paying more attention to the guts of the poll and what they really mean.
Yeah, and so obviously the hardest hitting he's getting, according to this, is on economy, and that's the thing where I'm saying, really, 45% of the country says my station in life is pretty good right now as it relates to what government's doing. You can't escape the effect of bad policies. My thought on this is what you've got. And AP obviously is a very left-leaning media organization. They claim they're completely objective in news, but they're not.
No, they're not.
We know that. Is that they're looking at things going really badly for the left in November, potentially. So what you're seeing now are constant stories. President's approval just spiked. Things are moving in the right direction. Country thinks increasing number of people think we're moving in the right direction as a country. Democrats have renewed hope, over, and they'll talk about abortion. They'll talk about, the Inflation Reduction Act, which they still are trying to convince us that people really care about in the middle, or people who, they just look at the gas prices. They look at the food they can't get. Baby formula is still in short supply. You've got all of these things right here, and they're trying to create a narrative that says, no, you're not really unhappy.
Yeah.
You're not really uncomfortable. You really love what's happening to you right now.
Sure. I think, and it may have always been this way, but I think the role of polls these days is primarily to drive the narrative rather than to assess people's honest sentiments.
And I would caution our listeners to hold true to what they believe in right now, because what the left does is they deal in emotion all the time, and what they're trying to do is get people on the right discouraged.
Sure.
And make them, and that's what these polls are for too. They're weaponizing the polls like they do everything else.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So I think they just, the people who are going to be voting for our policies, I believe they just need to hold true to what they think and stay with it and not get discouraged, basically.
All right, 4 minutes from right now, right around 6:20, the cruelty,
the inhumanity
of sending illegals to rich liberal neighborhoods and poor liberal cities. Cruel.
Unusual.
Something like that. Right here at 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Stop right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to you.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up,
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Information.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Backed up traffic on 44 westbound downtown headed into the depressed section. We had an incident at 3rd and Memorial that's apparently affecting traffic on the highway somewhat. We had an earlier crash eastbound on 44 near Washington, but that one's been cleared. This report is sponsored by Blindster. Save big on new blinds at Blindster.com with custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order just by using the code RADIO. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hey, Tim Jones here with Tony Colombo for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner at the Wallner Home Selling Team. If you're thinking about taking advantage of the market and selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now. Put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. Rodney and Jen have the experience and work ethic that sets them apart from all the rest. That's why they sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor and have so many qualified buyers right now. They'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. The results, Tony, speak for themselves.
That's right, Tim. In fact, I recently benefited from those results personally. My wife and I couldn't be happier with the job the Wallners did for us, selling our old home in less than 2 days for significantly more than we were asking for and finding us the perfect new home. Like so many others, we loved working with Rodney and Jen, the Wallner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
Colombo and Katie.
Equality means equality. It means you don't discriminate against anybody.
And what are we teaching the next generation? The entire American struggle, it wasn't pretty. It was our history is very ugly. But we have the opportunity to show our younger generation, see how ugly this was? Do you see brother fighting against brother to make things right? Because that's how much we care.
Tony Colombo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-649-8619. 800-649-8619. 800-649-8619. That's 800-649-8619.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. I think I was in grade school or maybe junior high when I first heard the term NIMBY. Not to be confused with its crotchety uncle, get off my lawn. NIMBY, of course, stands for not in my backyard, and originally referred to a person or group of people vehemently opposing a course of action or project in their neighborhood because they believe it's hazardous or undesirable. Nuclear power plant, landfill, halfway house, not in my backyard. Its application to the recent reaction by Democrat mayors and governors to buses of illegal immigrants being dropped off in their proudly designated sanctuary cities is inescapable. Progressive leaders are all for open border policies when they result in an influx of migrants to other cities and states. Yet when they land on their doorstep, it's time to call out the National Guard and accuse the Republican governors sending them of playing politics. Why is it grand to have thousands of migrants flooding into border states like Texas and Arizona, yet cause for hand-wringing to have dozens arriving in jurisdictions that tout their sanctuary status as a strong selling point and sign of their virtue? Seems to me like maybe it's those crying the loudest about playing politics who are doing that very thing.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Listen anytime.
It happens
Anywhere.
Everywhere.
Every day continues to bring more news.
With the News Talk STL app. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
America's talking to Fox News.
Home heating costs are expected to skyrocket this winter, leaving senior citizens and families concerned about footing the bill for rising utility costs.
That's a lot. Social Security doesn't go up that much. I'm working more jobs than I want to, but I just plain don't want to work anymore. I want to retire, and that's not happening either.
Employers aren't raising people's salaries fast enough to cover all the inflation.
Gas prices now, it costs more than milk. If it goes up anymore, it's going to be a problem.
In the construction industry, it's definitely slowed down quite a bit.
I'm usually a smart shopper. I try to cut corners here and there. So I'm okay. The inflation is not really bothering me.
I didn't have my pool line to put in because I saved the money for the oil for the winter.
I went back to work part-time on a one-year contract to supplement our income to make sure that it didn't adversely affect us too much.
Right now, groceries is very expensive for people that can't afford to buy groceries.
America's talking to Fox News.
All right, let's talk about the ballad of illegal immigrants being sent to the liberals' neighborhood, shall we? Obviously, Texas Governor Greg Abbott's decision to put the illegals from his state that are pouring through the border to New York City is apparently taking toll on the city shelters. In New York City, one of the biggest cities in the world, we've got a report on this from Fox News' Ashley Strohmeyer has the update for us.
Mayor Eric Adams' comments attracted some criticism when he said the shelter system is at its breaking point, insinuating the right to shelter law needs to be reassessed. The mayor said, in this new and unforeseen reality where we expect thousands more to arrive every week going forward, the city system is nearing its breaking point. As a result, the city's prior practices, which never contemplated the busing of thousands of people into New York City, must be reassessed. Well, these comments coming after 60 men who arrived Monday night were forced to spend the night in a city office. Now, Richie Torres, a Democrat from New York, says the right to shelter is protected under the NYS Constitution.
Okay, so President Biden is speaking at an event yesterday, and I think it was a Hispanic Heritage Month event that he was at. And he's addressing, among other people at it, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute in D.C., and he decides he's going to call out Republican governors for playing politics by sending illegals to Democratic-run cities.
We have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane. Republican officials should not interfere with that process by waging these political stunts.
What process?
There's no process. The process, the complete process of this president is to open the gate and let them come in. That's the process. I've seen it happen. You had the Border Patrol and the National Guard standing there. One shut the gate, the other one said nope, and they opened the gate, and those people walked through.
How about all the claims, Susie, that this is inhumane? This is cruel. And they're actually talking about to the immigrants, not to the liberals who have to now deal with their own problem.
Really? I'm glad
that's just to clarify. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inhumanity.
What exactly is inhumane about it?
Because they're actually, some of them are actually using the term human trafficking now, political stunt now. You just can't send people around like pawns. Let me tell you what's cruel and inhumane. Having a system and having a policy that allows dozens to be cramped inside of an 18-wheeler's trailer and cooked to death at the border. That's inhumane.
That qualifies.
That's what it is. Sending them to the richest zip code, one of them in the country, at Martha's Vineyard. That's not inhumane and cruel. Yes, that's making a point. But, if these illegals don't want to be used as pawns to have points made by using them, by sending them around, don't invade a country and don't come in illegally.
I think we're misunderstanding what they talk about when they say inhumane. I think that the inhumanity is what we're doing to the people who live there.
Yeah.
In Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, that's what
they're put off. It's a sanctuary city, but only in name only.
It's all about the signaling.
It's a lot of signaling going on. So Ron DeSantis was asked about this. And, it turns out Ron DeSantis had something to say about it.
Did he?
Yeah, here's what he had to say.
Our message is, we're not a sanctuary state. We don't have benefits or any of that. There are some sanctuary jurisdictions, and that would be better. Now, what would be the best is for Biden to do his damn job and secure the border.
Now, he goes on to say that there's a much bigger picture. I mean, are they making a point? Yes. And it's interesting because the Martha's Vineyard folks, they're like scrambling with all the cameras there to like say, well, we're going to feed them. We're going to,
They called it a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah, humanitarian crisis, and trying to show how welcoming they are. But they actually said on camera, like, they have to go somewhere else.
Right.
I saw on camera this lady, she said, we don't have any room for anybody. We barely have room for the people who actually work here, in the hotels, the workers. And so we have no room for any of these people coming in. Okay.
Yep.
So where do you propose they go?
Yeah.
And how do you propose we handle the situation other than just
not here,
shoving them off on somebody else?
What's the phrase that I use it on Twitter? We got to send them back where they came from. Texas and Arizona.
Well, yeah.
Except that's not where they
remain in Martha's
I know.
Vineyard.
But you know how that phrase gets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely.
I'm going to advocate the remain in Martha's Vineyard policy.
There you go. I like that.
There you remain.
I like that. Remain in Chicago, remain in DC, remain in New York City. And so is this weaponizing? I mean, yeah. And people are saying this is cruel to these people. Okay.
How is it cruel?
How's it? That's what I'm asking. They're saying it's cruel to these people to use them as pawns and just send them anywhere in the country. Okay. Well, they could have avoided this in the first place by going through the process.
Yeah.
Do you know
waiting your turn?
But what's the federal government doing with a lot of them anyway? They're busing them into the interior of the country. They're flying them into the interior. Why is that not inhumane? But this is. It's because of who's doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Purely
because people are recognizing that this is a real issue and a real problem, and they're recognizing how badly the left is failing on a fundamental part of their job.
Here's the acronym for what you just said: Remain in Martha's Vineyard. RIMVY.
Right.
There it is.
I like it.
NIMBY to RIMVY.
RIMVY.
Yeah, and they're basically being confronted with the realities of their own policies. So you look at Martha's Vineyard with 50. You look at a few hundred in Chicago. You look at a couple thousand in New York City. Yeah. And I think several hundred in Washington, D.C. And they all say humanitarian crisis. They're calling out the guard. You look in one city in Texas. Look at Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah.
Look at El Paso, Texas. 50,000 over the course of a week sometimes.
Yeah.
50,000. But we're supposed to look at Martha's Vineyard and say, sorry about those 50 people when were complaining about lowering illegal immigration.
One more note is when they called out the National Guard in Texas and Arizona, they were just up in arms on the left. Now they just did it for 50 people.
Right.
They just did it for the hundreds.
Couple hundred, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Rules for thee, not for me.
Yep. Precisely. All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead here, about 4 minutes, our good friend Paul Kurtman going to be with us, get his thoughts on this and on the Missouri legislative session, special session. No deal on a tax cut. This is being likely mismanaged from the very beginning, but we'll see. Will we actually get a tax cut? I don't know that we will. Not a real one. We'll see. Maybe. I hope. We'll get Paul's take on that and a lot more just ahead here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I'm going out for a proud. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
It seems to me when lightning strikes, knocks me off my feet.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion.
California Governor Gavin Newsom set to release a new plan that will ban gas vehicles by 2035.
California's electrical grid is already terribly overburdened today.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich.
After a second day of deliberation, the jury for the trial involving reality TV star Tim Norman was unable to reach a verdict. The jury is scheduled to resume deliberations today at 8:45 a.m. Norman is accused of being behind a murder-for-hire scheme to kill his nephew and co-star Andre Montgomery Jr. back in 2016. The North County Police Cooperative will not be renewing its service agreement with Pine Lawn due to late payments from the city. In a letter sent to Pine Lawn city leaders, the chief said payments from the city have been inconsistent and insufficient since the city joined the co-op in 2016. A 54-year-old Waterloo man pleaded guilty in federal court yesterday to stealing $339,000 while he worked for a St. Louis County floor covering company between 2014 and 2020. The man is facing up to 20 years in prison and $250,000 in fines for schemes that involved inflating work hours and submitting fraudulent invoices. And in sports, the Cardinals fell to the Reds 3-2 at Busch last night. The two teams play again tonight at 7:15 p.m. And the Blues and the St. Louis Sports Commission will partner with the University of Notre Dame to have their first City Shamrock Classic women's basketball game on November 12th at the Enterprise Center. The Shamrock Classic will celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX and the progress that has been made toward gender equality in women's athletics. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Backed up traffic on 44 westbound downtown headed into the depressed section. We had an incident at 3rd and Memorial that's apparently affecting traffic on the highway somewhat. We had an earlier crash eastbound on 44 near Washington, but that one's been cleared. This report is sponsored by Blindster. Save big on new blinds at Blindster.com with custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order just by using the code RADIO. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid-90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for the great team at All Solutions Pest Control. All Solutions is the pest control company Christine and I trust with our home because they don't cut corners and they take the time and use the best products available to help protect your home at the highest level possible. Call All Solutions Pest Control today at 636-486-7888 and learn more about our special $67 introductory offer, or visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Missouri's Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Voting is a right and a responsibility. You can always vote a provisional ballot on Election Day, but using a photo ID is the best way to vote. A valid Missouri driver's license, for example. If you need an ID, my office can help you get one for free. Either way, your vote counts. Check out sos.mo.gov or call my office. And remember, in Missouri, if you're registered, you can vote.
Sponsored by Missouri Secretary of State.
The news and talk that affects St. Louis.
Can the former president have standing to say that the investigators don't even get to look at the documents?
She has been on the throne for 70 years.
Oh, I think we're in a recession. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Hey, guess what?
What?
We got ourselves a new News Talk STL talk show host.
We do?
We do. We're going to talk to him at 8:05.
Oh, cool.
Jason is Jason Thornton, but you can just call him JT.
JT.
Yeah, he's got a new show that I think it debuts tonight, actually.
Yes, it does.
So debuts tonight called Pocket Watchers.
I think is it Pocket Watchers or Watching?
Pocket Watching. And so he's going to be live. So call in. A lot of focus on financial stuff, but let's just say he's got some pretty strong opinions on how things are getting messed up in your personal finance by Washington, D.C.
Well, the cool thing about JT is when you do call in, if you oppose his views, call in, please,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
he really likes that.
Yeah.
That's what actually lights him.
I like it
that
too.
lights him up.
I like it too.
Fun.
So,
all right. So JT is going to be with us at 8:05. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:38 right now. Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer today, and Ken Williams, and joined now by our good friend and lifelong freedom fighter, Paul Kurtman, with us. Hey, Paul, let me start tapping into your kind of knowledge of the workings of the state legislature and how that works. State lawmakers went in for the special session. They've gone back home. No deal, even though we were told this is specifically to give us a tax cut. I've had one state lawmaker in the state Senate already tell me we're going to be at this for a couple weeks and I can't make any promises. What are you seeing? What are you hearing when it comes to will we actually get a tax cut on the Missouri side?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we're probably going to get a tax cut, but I don't think it's probably going to happen in a special session. I mean, it might. I mean, Governor Parson calls a special session to pass a tax cut. This is something that he wants to get done because you just don't call a special session, every year for anything. And certainly getting a tax cut through is good for the Republican Party. It's good for our messaging. However, if you say you're going to pass a tax cut, well, when you bring the legislature in to pass a tax cut, it ought to just center around cutting taxes. But when there's other types of giveaways or tax credits that are involved, well, then you're just going to muddy the waters, because a lot of these tax subsidies or tax credits are really just handouts. It's a lot of picking winners and losers. And there's a lot of people in the legislature who will fight against that and have been fighting against that for years. So it's kind of playing with fire. If you say you're going to pass a tax cut, bring the legislature in, gives everybody a win. This would have been an easy win for everybody. There is no reason why Republicans should be called in for a tax cut to a special session, only to have the waters get a little bit muddy because you have a bunch of giveaways in there. And then everybody goes home without cutting taxes. That's a worse message. That is by far a worse message for legislators to go home after a special session to cut taxes, not having been able to cut taxes when you got these kind of majorities.
Paul, you know a lot of the players involved. What is your take on, if this is something that the governor wants and is advocating for and is going to the trouble of calling this special session for, what's the strategy behind making the point person somebody who is seemingly less enthused about it and or kind of creating some of these tensions as far as what exactly is going to be included in the package?
There's lots of politics involved. I'll tell you a personal story. When I was in the legislature, I was the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. So all the tax policy passing through the House of Representatives had to come before my committee. And it was up to me whether or not I was going to give it a hearing and whether or not I was going to give it a vote and then hopefully maybe move it on to the House floor. Well, there was one time a bill came up that the Speaker of the House didn't think I would like. And this actually happened. He literally created another tax committee and sent the bill to that committee just so it wouldn't come to me.
Wow.
So you see a lot of politics being played with who they pick to pass what bill. There are people in Jefferson City who have been champions of tax reform, who have been champions of the pro-life movement, who have been champions of one issue or another. But if they are not liked by the Speaker of the House, by the leader of the Senate, by the governor, they will pick somebody who's never introduced those bills before. They'll pick somebody who doesn't even know those issues at all, and they'll ask them to carry the legislation just because they don't want the people they don't like to move legislation forward, even though those people might have been the champions of those issues in the past, and maybe even the issue experts, inside that building there in Jefferson City. So there's a lot of politics involved with picking who you want to move a bill forward. Sometimes, and most of the time, I don't know if I want to say most of the time, but in many cases, you will see people getting picked to move important legislation who have no clue why that legislation is even important to begin with.
Hey, good morning, Paul. This is Ken. You mentioned, well, when we first heard about this, we were all excited because there was going to be a tax cut. Of course, that makes everybody excited. Then we find out the special session, the result might not be a tax cut. Do you think that has some kind of implications on the upcoming election, as far as from the perspective of the voter?
In terms of this midterm election?
Yeah, the midterm election.
Yeah, that's really hard to say. The best thing that could have happened, I mean, if we're concerned about the elections in November, if Republicans are concerned about it, they should immediately make sure that they grease the wheels of that special session to get through exactly what they said they were going to get through. But instead, it seems a lot of legislators feel like there was some bait and switch. This isn't exactly what we thought we were coming in here to do. And ultimately, that is going to become an obstacle to Republicans in November. I don't think it's going to cause us to lose any seats, but it is certainly not helping us win over the hearts and minds of the people of Missouri.
Well, that's good to know, at least.
We're visiting with Paul Kurtman, former state representative, host of the Paul Kurtman Show every Saturday here on News Talk STL. And that's what's kind of baffling me, Paul, when you talked about, have the wheels greased. I mean, with a massive majority in both chambers, a Republican governor, they could have written the legislation, shown up, voted on it, went home, and claimed a rightful victory. The fact that this is turning into basically a mini session instead of, okay, we agree there's going to be tax cuts, let's settle on the number and go. This seems like there was, I'm not going to say mismanagement, but definitely it's not on the same page. And there are some Republicans who are the Democrats' best friends right now in that building.
Yeah, it's always just how the politics messes everything up. I want to make sure I say this the right way. We are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, and it just boils down to poor leadership. But this is the kind of thing you can expect, though, when you have politicians that are driven by their own ego. I mean, if they really want to pass tax reform, get the people who know the most about tax reform to lead this issue and lead this fight, understandably with a little bit of direction from the governor, because he's the one calling the special session. But put the experts, put the people who have been pushing this issue, put them in charge and let them steer the special session to accomplish what the governor wants to accomplish. Instead, when you see, and I'm telling you, since I have been involved in Jefferson City politics, I have never seen a worse case of ego and the cool kids club as I see in the state Senate right now.
Yeah.
You've got people like Bill Eigel, who's exploring a run for governor. And then you have politicians literally going to a roast. When politicians start roasting each other, they have fun and they invite the press and they tell, jokes. I can't think of a stronger message of disconnect, especially right now when you got so many people across the state who are still struggling paycheck to paycheck because the cost of everything's going up, and they're meeting together to roast each other and making fun of one of the guys that they don't like, who's just exploring to run for governor. This is all happening right when they're trying to pass a tax cut. It is the worst case of leadership that I've been able to observe probably in the last 10 years.
Yeah. All right, Paul, what can we look forward to on tomorrow's Paul Kurtman Show?
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that issue, and I'll be naming some names, some people in the state Senate that need to get their act together. So people might want to be able to listen in just to that a little bit. But in addition to that, we're going to be playing the Be or Not the Be with my new producer, Zach Factor. And it's just going to be a good show with lots of information. We're going to break down this whole immigration issue a little bit more. You got people like Lori Lightfoot. I almost called her Larry. Lori Lightfoot, making some statements that would probably lead people like Governor Abbott and DeSantis to say mission accomplished, but we'll see.
All right, Paul Kurtman. Hey, appreciate you being on once again, and we will talk to you soon. I'm going to be comparing the names that I've got with the names that you're going to name, and I have a feeling our lists are going to be pretty similar as to who's really causing the problems in the state Senate. All right, Paul, good talk to you again, my friend. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Paul.
Guys.
314-912-1019. Just ahead, another shouting down of a conservative speaker on campus when I think the easiest thing that could have happened is they just ignore her. But no, they got to make a big kind of violent showing. This one happened in the Southwest. We'll tell you who and what and when and why and all that good stuff just ahead right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Starting to pick up a little volume, 55 northbound as you head into the work zone coming up from Carondelet into the city. We are in good shape westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. However, westbound on 44 headed into the depressed section, there's a backup from about Washington. That's due to an incident still blocking the right lane. This report is sponsored by Blindster. Need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Blindster blinds, easy to install, guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Chris, Katie and I will have a fantastic Friday. Zach Smith at 4:25. Dr. Aaron Hedlund on Joe Biden's Inflation Inferno at 5:25.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link. Your smile is your number one asset.
I was in a car accident. My front tooth cracked. I'm definitely embarrassed to smile. I got mini dental implants. It changed my life.
If you are missing one or more teeth or suffer from loose dentures, mini dental implants might be the solution for you. I have placed mini implants with amazing results. Mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Let me give you your self-confidence back and give you the ability to eat the foods that you love to eat, but that you simply can't at this point. Plus, best of all, the cost to you is much less than with older, more traditional dental implants.
It made me feel like me. Like I can smile and feel like Ashley. I just want to say thank you.
We are here to help you at the Dental Link.
Call Dr. Alan Link today at 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville. That's the Dental Link at 314-794-6464.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
If you are on Medicare, you need to listen to this message. Open enrollment for all Medicare participants starts October 15th. This is a very critical time of the year for you to make needed changes to your plan.
This is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. Regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively. Find us on the web at mbhealth.com.
MB Health can also help small businesses find the perfect medical coverage for their employees. That's mbhealth.com.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson, Gabe Pfeiffer. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
7:05. Brad Jones from the National Federation of Independent Businesses is going to be with us. Now, NFIB is probably not maybe one of the immediate organizations you think of. You may think of the Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, things like that. NFIB focuses on independent small businesses. So in the St. Louis region, obviously, particularly on the Missouri side, but this affects Illinois just as much. how's this economy actually affecting us? They have what they call an optimism index for businesses. And so we're going to get an update on that from Brad.
Great.
So it's 7:05, 8:05. Jason Thornton, JT, News Talk STL's newest talk show host. His show debuts tonight right here on News Talk. So we're going to get a preview of that as well. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:52. Got Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer today and Ken Williams. And 'tis the season. And I mean, like, college is back in session.
Sure.
Which means that dumbass, mushy-brained college students throw a fit when somebody might have an opinion they don't like.
How dare they?
I saw this story on
Red State.
redstate.com. So Tommy Lauren from Fox News, Fox News Channel, she was going to give a presentation at University of New Mexico.
Yes.
And a mob decided she was not going to do that. Well, the mob won.
Yes.
I mean, and because at one point, according to the story, they're literally physically pushing past police officers, which seems like assault to me by law. And they stopped her from speaking.
They did.
Now, to me, the easiest thing to do is, and much more effective, is don't show up. I mean,
well, if you don't want to bring attention to a speaker,
Ignore
then
it.
you can ignore them. Or if you want to protest, you stay outside and you voice your views.
Mhm.
But just to shut them down altogether,
That's not enough. Yeah, that's not enough for the leftist mobs. Is that you're not allowed to speak. Now, Tommy Lauren is not on my top 10 list of
No,
top
not a favorite of mine,
10
for a number of
conservative.
reasons, but-
She's not on my list of like top 50,
Right.
frankly. And so if I were in the area, I probably wouldn't bother to go see her anyway. Not my
Mm-hmm.
choice. I don't like hate her or anything like
No,
that, but
no,
I
no,
just
no.
I don't think she's that great of a conservative spokesperson. But the idea here is, again, and we've seen this violence. We saw it at Berkeley a couple years ago.
Sure.
We've seen it at UMKC on
Mhm.
the other side of the state, right down I-70, when Michael Knowles was going to speak there.
Right.
And so you've got, and the mob declared victory because they won.
Yeah.
I mean, they got what they wanted. Their goal was, with whatever level of force was needed, they were going to stop somebody from speaking and presenting an opinion on a publicly funded public university.
Yes.
Here we go again, guys.
Right.
Yeah. The left, by the way, can use force because their opinions matter. So they're able to use force where we can't.
Oh, that's the rationale.
Yeah.
So I want to add something to that. I mean, this was a Turning Point USA
Right,
event,
right.
and Red State actually works very closely with TP USA.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's why we have the exclusive story. But yeah, this event had been planned in advance for quite a while, and the mob got so out of hand that the campus police were not able to contain them. They had to basically remove Lauren and her father and a number of other people to a sort of a secure location in the building, and they had to call in the state police because they were concerned about the level of rhetoric that was ratcheting up, and it was turning to violence. The other thing is, a lot of the people that fomented this violence were bragging about it right and left on
Mhm.
social media. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any either campus related or criminal repercussions for the criminal behavior, because some of it was criminal.
Oh, it was, yeah. And there is of audio of this, but I can't play it.
Yeah, no.
I just,
The
it's-
FCC would not approve.
no.
And Susie, I have a question. Since you're investigating, you guys are investigating this. Is social media shutting down those accounts that we're talking about and boasting about the criminal activity?
Not to my knowledge. To my
Really?
knowledge, those posts are still
That's
up.
weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
They were as of about an hour and a half ago, because I watched
when
it.
I read the article this morning.
Yeah, it was still
Okay.
there.
They were still there.
So, this is, because over the summer, you just kind of forget that these things happen, but we're back into another season, of this. But here's the thing is, and to where you're going with your questions, Ken, is, are the universities tacitly supporting and encouraging this? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Would seem so. It depends on what this university ends up doing. But I will give Tommy credit for one thing too. In her Instagram video when she talked about it after
Right.
the fact, she said, I don't care what you think about me, whether she believes it or not, I don't know. But she said, forget what you think about me. What about the other students that were there to hear me speak?
Mhm.
They were in danger too.
Right.
They were threatened. Those are students from the university,
Yeah.
and they deserve the university's protection. So that's a
Right.
valid point.
And I try to do the flip test on this, and let's say that I'm in a university, or my kids are at a university, and they bring in Nicole Hannah Jones from the
Mm-hmm.
1619 Project, or they bring in Brian Stelter. They bring in some left-wing loony out there. What's my reaction going to be? Well, my reaction is I got other stuff to do.
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say,
going
I
to go
got
somewhere else.
places to go.
I'm not going to waste my time with it. But I don't feel an innate desire to stop somebody else from putting another idea in the marketplace of ideas because I don't like it.
I've heard this before, and I agree with it 100%. The left wants to stifle speech it doesn't agree with. The right wants to shine a light on it.
And I don't mind what you're saying, Mike, as long as the other side gets their say. But that the unfortunate thing is only the left gets to say it, not the right.
Right. But I would never, it just would never dawn on me to use those kind of tactics.
No.
Nope.
I don't know what those kids are proud of. Those children are proud of at this point. Makes no sense. All right, let's talk economy. Let's talk small businesses. Hey, the holidays are coming up here, and there are some bad signs for economic reasons.
Selling your St. Louis area home is a big deal. It's one of the biggest financial transactions you will ever make. In St. Louis, call Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That's Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She'll do a great job for you. Gloria has mastered the home selling process to help you maximize the sale of your home in this crazy seller's market. Why, Miss Lou? Gloria already has the buyers. Thousands of them looking for homes in your neighborhood at your price range. Fact is, with Gloria Lou, your home may already be sold. And while most agents make big promises, Gloria will sell your home at the agreed price and time frame, or she will buy it, guaranteed in writing. So please call Gloria Lou today, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com, GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance? Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A retired New York federal judge appointed to review documents seized in the FBI's raid on former President Trump's Florida home.
A special master has been named. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon empowered Raymond Deary to serve as an independent arbiter in the investigation into classified government documents found at Mar-a-Lago in early August. She set a November 30th deadline for his work. Deary is a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of New York and a former chief judge of the federal court based in Brooklyn. He served on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court that authorizes wiretap applications. Although the Justice Department opposed the appointment of a special master, both the DOJ and Donald Trump's lawyers have said Deary was an acceptable choice. Jennifer King, Washington.
And Mr. Trump telling us he's confident of victory in the legal battle over documents seized by the Biden Justice Department.
The former president predicts he will not be indicted in connection with the FBI raid.
Well, there is no reason that they can.
Mr. Trump says that's because he's done nothing wrong, and he tells the Salem Radio Network the raid has actually pushed his polling numbers to an all-time high.
The people are not going to stand for this stuff. They've weaponized Department of Justice and FBI.
Former President Trump is set to hold a Save America rally on Saturday in Youngstown, Ohio. Bob Agnew reporting.
Florida's Republican governor is unbowed. Despite blowback from the White House, Ron DeSantis says he'll keep sending illegal immigrants to communities that have declared themselves sanctuary jurisdictions. His flight of 50 migrants to Martha's Vineyard created an uproar on the left, even though it's only a tiny fraction of the number of illegals flooding communities along the southern border. President Biden planning to meet today with families of a couple of Americans detained in Russia. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures are down 227 points. NASDAQ futures off 118. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
We look good downtown now. There was a crash earlier, 44 West in the depressed section, but it's been cleared. The only incident we have to highlight at the moment is eastbound on 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis. That's just a fender bender on the right shoulder. Everything else still looks pretty good. Haven't had any major incidents. This report is sponsored by Blindster. Want to save big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at 45% off any order. Just use the code RADIO. Offer ends soon. Shop today. Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid 90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Do you live in West St. Louis County? Then you can get West News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. West News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit westnewsmagazine.com/subscribe or pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. West News Magazine. Anybody who wants it, gets it. Anybody who gets it, wants it. Subscribe for free today. Simply visit westnewsmagazine.com/subscribe.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here. Well, it's summer and Hanson's Tree Service has got you covered for everything that you need to continue to beautify your homestead, your landscaping, and everything there too. You can purchase organic mulch in bulk from Hanson, saving on price, time, and it's convenient. They'll take care of everything around your homestead regarding tree and stump removal, pruning, green waste recycling, plant health care. You got oak trees or ash trees that need service, Hanson's will take care of that as well. 24/7, hansonstree.com, hansonstree.com.
Decision 22 News.
Inflation, gas prices.
Decision 22 Analysis.
The things the American people want to hear about.
Decision 22 Opinion.
Same old tired talking points.
In St. Louis, Decision 2022 happens right here. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
All right, we're going to get back to that conversation about the cruelty, inhumanity of sending illegals to liberal neighborhoods. And again, just to clarify, when the liberals are complaining about the cruelty, they're actually talking about to the immigrants, not to them for having to deal with the results of their own policies that they've been pushing.
Ostensibly.
Yes, that's at least what they're saying. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 7:06. That's Susie Moore from redstate.com. She's in for Gabe today. Ken Williams is here. Interesting business notes that were coming out. Let's like, for instance, one of the biggest corporations, FedEx, says, yeah, we're not expecting as much activity this coming quarter, and this quarter includes the holidays. The company that delivers your presents says, yeah, we're downgrading our outlook for the next few months, and their stock drops and all that kind of stuff. But what about the businesses that are grown and built right here? Brad Jones is the state director for National Federation of Independent Businesses on the Missouri side. And of course, a lot of what Brad's about to say can apply to the Illinois side as well. But Brad, appreciate you being on the program here. Legislature talking about tax cuts with independent businesses. I have a feeling that that sort of conversation has a direct impact on their business as well. But when you look at the economic conditions that we're all dealing with right now, inflation, fuel prices, everything, is this hitting small businesses, independent businesses any differently than the larger counterparts out there?
Well, first of all, Michael, it's good to be on with you.
Thanks, sir.
It has been a while, and always enjoy visiting with you.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, Mike, here's the deal. I mean, we came out of the pandemic, right? Probably one of the worst couple of years for small businesses that they've ever tried to navigate. And then body blow number two is we move ourselves into this economy. This, the inflation issue that we've got right now, it's a threefold issue. And I know you've talked about it on your show, but it's a threefold issue. We've had supply issues, we've got a major labor problem, and then we've got inflation. And honestly, they're all sort of intertwined, if you will, because, one of the biggest problems that small business people are having right now, we've got 48%. Now wrap your head around that, Mike. We've got 48% of our members are telling us that they have jobs that they would like to fill and they can't fill them. And so when you have a situation like that, the only thing one of the only things you can do is raise compensation and raise the cost of hiring those folks. Well, you do that, and what happens? I mean, this is classic Econ 101. If you push on the balloon one place, it's got to come out someplace else. And where it's coming out is in inflation, and it's coming out of all of our pocketbooks when you're looking at, 7, 8, 9% inflation. And not only that, for a small business person, that means that, all of the products that they buy and sell, their energy. I mean, think about also what's gone on with gas prices. Let's say you've got a business that's heavily reliant on deliveries. Man, you talk about taking it. So, it's been a whole combination of things. And of course, NFIB has been doing this small business optimism index for since 1973. And there's a question on there that says, do you think the conditions will get better over the next 6 months? And that actually went up in August. And I've been trying to figure out why that would have gone up. And the black humor of that may be that our small business people are saying, how in the world could it get worse? Maybe we've hit the bottom here, and it's just got to get better in the next 6 months.
How does that optimism index compare to what's the long term? I mean, is it kind of where the norm is? Is it lower than usual? Is it higher than usual? Where is it, compared to the historic levels?
Oh, it's lower than it's at a 48-year low, Mike. It is. I don't think it has been this low since the fourth quarter of 1979. I think. So even though we did have one little uptick in August, it is still absolutely is historically low. I mean, it's at 91.8, which doesn't mean anything to your listeners, but it's the way it's calculated. This is the 8th consecutive month below the 48 year average of a 98. So, the last almost 2.5 years, it has absolutely been in the tank.
Brad, you noted that a lot of these factors are intertwined. The labor shortage, the supply shortages, all those things are kind of coming together in a perfect storm. What's in your view, the key to unraveling that and getting us back on the right track?
Man, I wish I was that smart. They could figure it out, because that is the question, isn't it? I mean, I'm somewhat. I feel a little bit better. It looks like that the number of unemployment claims is going down. So that would indicate to me that maybe more people are starting to get into the workforce. That, I think, is really going to be important, because right now we're seeing small business people having to pay compensation, and you guys know it. I mean, all you got to do is wander around St. Louis and look at what starting wages are. Even at convenience stores, or not to mention, what restaurants and stuff are having to pay. But if you look at this, the fact that you've got shortages of some of the products that you may be selling, or especially for a small manufacturer, getting all of the component parts that they might need to make something, and they're going up, then you're in a situation where you're also looking to hire people. It all kind of works together. You're right. A perfect storm is a perfect way to explain it, because there ain't nothing good going down this road. And I would like to think that if we can start to work on this on the labor end of it, that it will eventually, those the wages and everything will have to level out, and we may see at least a flattening instead of an increase in the inflationary problem. And the Fed is throwing in too. I mean, they're trying to throw a little cold water on the thing too, and it looks like maybe there is an indication that that's helping a little bit. But that that comes with its own problems. Then you're talking about interest rates going up, and you've got a huge housing market out there that's in a real strange place right now. So it's these are strange times in which we're living, kids. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Brad Jones is with the National Federation of Independent Business, where he's the Missouri State Director. Brad, I just got a minute or so left here. How closely are small businesses, independent businesses in Missouri watching this special session in Jeff City when they're talking about tax cuts? And, the first partial week, no deal so far, but is there anything specific that your members are watching for?
Well, you got to remember, Mike, when you do anything with the individual income tax, you're also affecting the pass-through small businesses. So your sub-S's and your partnerships that run, they're accounting through the individual income tax. They're very much watching it, and you've probably got well more than half of all the small businesses that are organized that way. LLCs is the other one. So yeah, we're watching it very close. Right now, it looks like we have several ideas and no consensus. So next week we'll be watching this situation pretty close. The business income deduction would be great if they could add that in with, the individual income tax. That would be the best of everything. But I think that they will come up with some kind of a plan that is going to be a benefit to all Missourians. That is my altruistic goal, I guess, to see that small businesses can get help, and the rest of us, because we're sitting on a lot of money here in Jeff City.
All right,
it's not our money. It's not our money.
Exactly. All right, Brad, what's the website or social media?
We are NFIB.com, and I would encourage any of you small business folks out there that are not members, you can go to NFIB.com. Lots and lots of information about small business on our website.
All right. Hey, Brad, appreciate you being on the show.
You bet. I will do anything, anytime, Michael. Give me a call.
Sounds good. All right, Brad Jones, NFIB, Missouri. Has been a long time since Brad and I have done a radio thing, so that was kind of fun. It's been
nice.
Here's a side note. He and one of his friends have a podcast that's totally unrelated.
Oh yeah,
just called We Like That.
Oh,
and it's literally food and drinks.
I love it.
It's actually a really fun podcast.
I love.
So you can check that out as well. All right, just ahead here, we've got an endorsement being made in the St. Louis County Executives race. Jack Danforth decides who his pick is. I'll tell you who. Does it really make a big difference? Maybe make some, maybe not. We'll talk about it right around 7:20 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Want to give me more information
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Eastbound 64 is a little busy, Prospect to Lake St. Louis, but it's thinning out. That's due to an earlier crash. If you're westbound on 70, right at Adelaide, watch out. We've got a 2-vehicle crash blocking the left lane. Traffic is just busy past that. 55 north, slow Carondelet up through Virginia. 55 south at Route Z, they still have the right lane closed for some overnight road work. It's getting through there okay, though. This report sponsored by Blindster. Want to say big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order just by using the code RADIO. Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Blue Oyster Cult, live in concert. One of the most iconic bands in classic rock. Blue Oyster Cult, with special guests Mark Farner's American Band and Head East. Tonight at 7, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
Get ready, because here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute to the Beatles. Entertainment Tonight says seeing the Fab Four is just like seeing the Beatles. Hey Jude. The Fab Four takes you through the 60s with the music that changed our lives. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Saturday, October 1st at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
Stay top of mind with your customers, stand out from the competition, and drive productivity with a podcast for your business from Epic STL Podcasts. Log on to newstalkstl.com and click on the Epic STL Podcast button to learn more.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
Fox News commentary.
TV ratings for the Emmys dropped to a new all-time low. You know what they say, go woke, go broke. I'm Tommy Lahren, more next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
Average American doesn't want to watch whiny, overpaid Hollywood liberals grandstand at award shows anymore, and it shows. NBC's 74th Primetime Emmy Award show averaged under 6 million viewers, a new low for a broadcast that has been steadily dropping to new lows over the last 4 years. Meanwhile, the Monday Night Football simulcast on the same night was up 17% from last year's franchise opener, the biggest cumulative audience since 2009. So people are watching TV, they just aren't watching award shows. Sports, like entertainment, has gone woke in many ways, but due to the constraints of playing an actual game, even whiny athletes aren't able to showboat their politics during the event. But the same is not so for these award shows, where simple thank you acceptance speeches have become soapbox moments for celebrities to grandstand and virtue signal. The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the ratings. Go woke, go broke, and unwatched. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president. We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
All right, 7:35. Let's address the claims by the president and congressional Democrats and overall media saying it is cruel what Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott and Doug Ducey are doing. Cruel.
Oh, the inhumanity.
Yes, that too. Yes. Of sending illegal immigrants right to the people who have been calling for basically open borders.
Okay.
I'm actually during the information segment there, I've been looking through some of Twitter and, some of the libertarians, small libertarian folks, they're siding with the left on this, no, you have a right to migrate wherever you want. No, you don't.
I wonder what their take is on what the federal government does to address the immigration situation. Okay.
Yeah. They just, but this is one where conservatives are right.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that around 7:35. It is 7:24 at the moment. We got Susie Moore from redstate.com and for Gabe today, Ken Williams here as well. John Danforth has decided to announce an endorsement. I don't know that Danforth's endorsement moves any voters anymore, but I suspect it might move a few dollars into a campaign. So he's decided that in this race for St. Louis County Executive that he is Susie getting behind Mark Mantovani.
Okay.
Saying that he's a uniter.
Okay.
So, Danforth used to be the sort of, he'd be referred to as the dean of the Republican Party in Missouri. I don't think he is that anymore.
Does he know he's retired?
He just, he's got the Danforth Center, plant sciences and all a bunch of stuff. Obviously his name's all over WashU, but yeah, I mean, he's, he was the elder statesman of the Missouri Republican Party for a long time. He's not, the current Republicans don't really pay attention to him.
This is what I'm wondering. I'm very familiar with Danforth.
Sure.
And yes, I mean, he's, as you said, his name is on a lot of things. There's obviously a lot of wealth there and certainly history there. But who's following along and following his lead at this stage of the game?
Right.
I really don't know. I'm asking honestly.
Now, I don't think that I don't think it's empty though. I think that somebody who is in more of that center right part of the Republican Party, because Danforth, especially in his later years, he's definitely been highly critical of the, what people would call the right wing.
Sure.
He's been very critical of that. So, but he's a dedicated Republican. So it does send a message that at least there are some Republicans who are saying, yep, let's do this. We got Mark Mantovani here. This is a chance to win. Let's do this. And he referred to, his business prowess and experience as well, which I thought were fair points. Is well, of course, now with Danforth, if there's an endorsement coming, I would think that there's probably some checks coming as well.
I would think,
which Mantovani would need.
I just wonder.
And Jack has.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that turns anybody off. Like, are there
See,
people
that's
that might push
possible.
away? Because
Right.
there are definitely people on the right that are not fans of Jack Danforth and
Yeah.
might take that as a signal not to vote for Mantovani.
Yeah, now I'm curious about that. 314-912-1019. Do you ever say, well, if they endorse them, then I'm out?
Yeah.
And there actually are some groups and people that I would go, ooh, that gives me pause. I don't look at an endorsement and say, well, if that person endorses them, then I'm definitely in.
Sure.
But I will see if that person endorses somebody, I'll say, okay, I'll take a look. That's as much as it will go with me. And the same as is if that person endorses them or that organization endorses them, I'm out, but it will make me more skeptical of them.
Well, originally when Jack Danforth, when he endorsed the independent, it was John Wood. Yeah. I was really skeptical. I was like, "What? Okay, why are you doing this?" And especially because at first we thought it would probably split things up to the point where Greitens would get in. And then it turns out that he was doing it so Greitens
to prevent Greitens
from getting in, because as soon as Greitens was out, then he dropped. So that was kind of interesting. I thought that was a very interesting move, and I think it's an interesting move that what he's doing with Mantovani as well. I think he kind of knows what's going on. I mean, I'm ready to listen and see what happens.
Danforth is a St. Louisan. He lives here. Yeah.
Yes. I know. I'm just going to be honest. My immediate reaction when I saw the announcement last night was kiss of death ?
Yeah, I mean,
and that's just my I don't know. I hope that doesn't have that effect, because I would like to see Sam Page unseated.
Absolutely. And so I don't know that it'll be a kiss of death. I don't think it's that harmful. I just don't think it helps that much.
I'm basing that reaction on like the commenters that we see at Red State. There are people that are very strong, very conservative and very pro-Trump, and Danforth was so anti-Trump that I could see that turning them off.
Yeah, but money talks, and
does.
he needs the money. So, I mean, from that aspect, I think Mantovani would benefit from if it's just the money.
Sure, I don't think he's going to not welcome that endorsement.
Sure, yeah. I mean, especially in St. Louis County, where you don't have, a very, you don't have a far conservative base.
No, it's a much more moderate base.
But I'll tell you what, the conservatives are the ones doing the work.
Yeah.
In St. Louis County.
Yeah.
They're not the numerically, but there would not be a St. Louis County Republican Party if it weren't for the actual conservatives doing the work.
They're the ones that are motivated to do the brass tacks, get down to brass tacks and do what needs to be done.
And to your point, Susie, I'm a fan of Trump, of course, obviously.
Are you?
And a little bit. And I would welcome the Mantovani over Sam Page any minute.
Absolutely. And that's the bigger picture we got to look at. So when I saw the headlines on that, I'm thinking, I don't know that moves the needle one way or the other a whole lot.
No,
for everybody it moves on the left, it probably, maybe the same number. I think that at this point, I think a lot of people, especially in the Republican Party, are like, okay, Danforth said something.
At least he didn't endorse an independent candidate for the race.
Yeah, he was basically willing to bankroll, that independent. And my take on that was, I said, I'll wait to see how the primary turns out before I decide whether I'm going to take that seriously or not. And obviously the primary turned out in a good way. So I couldn't care less. And then what do you know? John Wood backs out of the race just after some reporters figured out, wait a minute, you actually own a home in Virginia. You just rented an apartment in Kansas City, literally right before the voter registration deadline happened, or what. I'm not even sure how he was eligible to run because he hasn't been in president of the state long enough.
But was it legal?
It hadn't been challenged yet, but there were questions raised.
Yeah, because he had just basically rented an apartment to establish a residency. So I mean, with that, I mean, honestly, had the primary gone a different way, I could have been all ears. But John Wood is funny when he put a statement out that he said, I really believe I could have beaten Eric Greitens. I'm like, no, you couldn't have, but you could have changed the outcome of the race.
Yes.
And I know I wouldn't have even been that mad, to be really honest. But that's John Danforth wants his things are more civility. And I think he wants more moderate Republican Party. And the fact of the matter is the Republican Party has said the liberal policies don't work. We're going to get as far away from that as possible. We don't want to meet them in the middle anymore. They better come to us now.
And I do think that he probably approves of and supports pro-business policies, and see Mantovani as a good match for that. So I definitely can see that.
Right. Yeah. So Jack Danforth is not the devil incarnate. He's just the leader of yesterday.
Yes.
Not today. All right, 314-912-1019. Let's talk about the inhumanity of sending illegals to Martha's Vineyard, sending illegals to sanctuary cities.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the sanctuary
So
cities.
they're safest.
That's what they wanted, right? So they got it, and now they don't want it. Yeah, Ron DeSantis has a few things to say about that.
I
You're going to
bet he
love this.
does.
We'll talk about it around 7:35 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
We need change in our country right now.
Live and local.
They clubbed us over the head for 2 years.
Yep. You want corruption? This is how we get corruption.
This is News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. Former U.S. Senator John Danforth endorsed Mark Mantovani for county executive yesterday and called him a uniter. The St. Louis County Republican Central Committee picked Mantovani on Monday night to fill in for primary winner Catherine Pinner, who dropped out of the race. The Brentwood mayor announced that Manchester Road over Black Creek, just west of Hanley Road, will reopen on Monday, but lane restrictions for the pedestrian tunnel will remain in place until October 31st. After years of construction, Merchants Bridge, which is located just north of McKinley Bridge, reopened yesterday. There was almost a decade of planning and advocacy and 4 years of construction put into the $222 million project, which doubles the bridge's capacity. A website called My Dating Advisor has ranked St. Louis as the fourth most unfaithful city in the U.S. based on relationship satisfaction, life satisfaction, infidelity intent, and affair activities. 3 cities in Texas ranked first, second, and third. And in sports, WashU Orthopedics announced yesterday that it will be the St. Louis City SC's official health partner. As part of the relationship, the team's new training facility will be called the Washington University Orthopedics High Performance Center, and BJC Healthcare will provide medical services to the soccer club. And the Cardinals fell to the Reds 3-2 at Busch last night. The two teams play again tonight at 7:15 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more,
From the
go to
Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic
newstalkstl.com.
Center.
We're doing all right. 64 eastbound is pretty busy as you come in from I-70 towards 364. That's due to an earlier crash. It's been cleared for a while. 55 north really isn't that bad. There's some heavy traffic running up towards 4500 Broadway in the roadwork zone, but otherwise in decent shape. 270 northbound Crouch, 21 up to Gravois, then it does better. The Papa Street Bridge Complex looks all right. Our only accident is a minor one. 70 westbound past Adelaide. It's mostly on the left shoulder. They may end up having to take the left lane, though. This report sponsored by Lowe's, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Don't miss the Energy Savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid 90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Kenny Zhu, president of Color Us United.
Race became a profitable industry. That's what happened. Racial victimhood. We all believe in civil rights, but then there are people who actually profit off of racial victimhood in this country. Diversity, equity, and inclusion right now, the new hot thing in companies is a 10 billion plus industry.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 941, and NewstalkSTL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 941, 991 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
The cruelty of sending illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities and states. The left is losing their mind, not because they're so morally outraged, I believe, but because they're getting called out and they got to put their money where their mouth is. And they don't like doing that because they can't say, ooh, my bad. Yeah, this sucks. Boy, I feel bad for the people in the border communities. They're not doing that. So we got some reports and updates on that. It's 7:38. I'm Mike Ferguson. That's Red State Susie Moore over there.
That's me.
She's in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. That's Ken Williams right there. Hey, just a quick note here. The Freedom Fest barbecue is coming up. That is on October 9th, and the MCs are our very own Chris Harps and Tim Jones, and kind of an all-star speaking lineup if you want to go to the Freedom Fest barbecue this year. As U.S. Senate nominee and Attorney General Eric Schmidt, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, Congresswoman Ann Wagner, Nick Schroer, many others are going to be there. So check that out. And that is being put on, I believe, by the, is that the Young Republicans?
St. Louis Young Republicans.
Young Republicans doing that. So look them up and get in touch. And October 9th, you could go get yourself some barbecue and hear from Eric Schmidt and Jay Ashcroft and a bunch of others. Nick
It'll
Schroer.
be a fun event, man.
Yeah, it will be fun.
And I love barbecue.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love freedom.
That's
Yeah,
right.
freedom and barbecue.
Barbecue tastes like freedom.
It does.
Well, I wonder if there'll be beer there. If there's beer there, barbecue, and freedom, I mean, come on.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess yes.
All right.
So I may stop by October 8th as well. Okay, so New York City, Eric Adams, among those who are saying, hey, we can't handle all these illegal immigrants. You shouldn't have declared yourself a sanctuary city there, New York City. But he says, hey, we need some help on this. And this is as more illegals are getting bussed in from border states, including Texas and Arizona. 2 busloads of the immigrants were dropped off in front of Vice President Kamala Harris's home in Washington as well. We talked about that yesterday. 2 plane loads of them were sent to Martha's Vineyard from Florida. But Fox News' Kevin Cork reports that the numbers of the illegal immigrants does not compare, obviously, to what's happening at the southern border.
For all the gnashing of teeth by Democrat-run cities and states about the recent burden of migrants being bussed their way, by comparison to the southern border and border towns, there's no comparison. Almost 2 million encounters from October to July, and that doesn't include the number of gotaways, which arguably could be in the numbers of tens of thousands, and almost 200 grand in July alone. Meanwhile, those numbers of those, bussed to places like D.C., New York, and Chicago, you could argue those are paltry by comparison.
Matter of fact, the president was at an event basically celebrating Latino or Hispanic Heritage Month. And he said they're playing politics with people, using him as pawns, and it's cruel.
We have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane. Republican officials should not interfere with that process by waging these political stunts.
Yeah, but do you? I mean, do you, Mr. President? You If you have a process, you're not using it. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this problem here.
Can I say something that's completely obvious to anyone who's not brain dead?
Sure.
Okay.
And I just want to say this, that the inhumane activity didn't start when they bust people to your sanctuary city.
Mhm.
It started when the policies of the Biden administration encouraged people to start marching up to the border of the United States back 14 months ago or 16, whenever. And that's when it all started. It did not start recently.
No, you're absolutely right, Ken. And here's the other thing. What is it about transporting people on a plane or on a bus to another location, one that has designated itself as a sanctuary for them? What is it about that specifically that is inhumane? And how is that inhumane, but transporting them when the federal government does it isn't inhumane? Or when the city of El Paso, which is Democrat led, does the exact same thing, how is that not inhumane?
Exactly.
Governor Gavin Newsom, who always has something brilliant to add to the conversation, is calling on the Department of Justice to investigate Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, and Doug Ducey, get this, for kidnapping.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
Now,
human
remember,
trafficking thrown around
as
as
you,
well.
yeah, as you said, and the federal government does the exact same thing and just takes them to other places, and we
Right.
don't know where they are. And these places are self-declared. Martha's Vineyard's not, but these other places are self-declared sanctuary cities where we will protect you from the government. So DeSantis, Ducey, and Abbott are like, okay, here you go, Sparky.
I'm pretty sure Martha's Vineyard is a sanctuary city because I think DeSantis made that very point
Oh,
when
did
he
he?
talked about it. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to look it up, but I'm almost positive it is because he definitely honed in on the fact that we're sending these to sanctuary cities.
Let's go back to the beginning again then. If they're going to do that, I would say, and since you're a litigator, you might be able to agree or disagree with me. Why don't the House, when November arrives and we possibly take over, I don't want to say for sure that we're going to, but they can do an investigation into Biden and maybe charge him with some kind of treasonous crime because of what the country has gone through because of his policies. I mean, it's the same type of thing.
Well, yeah, and it's never ending at this point. You know, we're going to investigate you. You're going to investigate
Right.
us.
Yeah,
we're,
that's just where we are in
We're
politics
stuck
now.
in that cycle now.
Yeah, we're in that downward spiral. You know, that's
I mean,
all it is.
that's what I'm saying. Newsom, you know, that's just crazy.
Well, that's
say
Newsom trying to elevate his profile because he wants
Right.
to run for president in 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be Newsom versus Pritzker versus who knows,
Yeah,
Buttigieg, and
Michelle
I still will
Obama.
not be shocked
Yeah.
if Kamala becomes president before 2024 if she picks Newsom as her VP.
With both of them being from California,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. So Ron DeSantis, since his name's come up a couple times, he was addressing this at a kind of a press conference event that he was at.
Beating their chests when Trump was president, saying they were so proud to be sanctuary jurisdictions, saying how bad it was to have a secure border. The minute even a small fraction of what those border towns deal with every day is brought to their front door, they all of a sudden go berserk, and they're so upset that this is happening. And it just shows you, their virtue signaling is a fraud. Okay. They are supporting policies that are just frankly indefensible. It is not defensible for a superpower to not have any control over the territory of its country, over the borders of its country. And he inherited a situation where you didn't have this happening. And yes, we needed to build the wall. There was more that we needed to do. He reversed the Trump policies, knowing what would end up happening. And one of the reasons why we want to transport, because it's expensive if people are coming here. It taxes social services and all these other things.
Without question about that. Dare I say that sounded very presidential?
Sure did.
Dare you?
Dare I say that?
You should.
I dare say.
You do.
I
Rebel.
dare say. All right, 314-912-1019. Hey, they're getting a taste of their own medicine, but they're just being confronted with the results. And people are saying, you're just taking people, moving them all over the country, using them as pawns for the cameras. Yeah, I'll even admit that's part of what's happening right now. And I don't care.
It didn't start with this.
And, and keep in mind that these pawns, as people are saying, they're at fault too for breaking the laws of our country and coming in illegally.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that as well. These aren't victims. Okay. These are people who are in the country illegally. End of story on that. 912-1019. This is 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Follow us on Getter at News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Northbound on 270 right at Tesson Ferry. We've got a crash blocking the right lane. Delays back to I-55. 44 westbound at the 258, which puts it right at Pacific. We have word of a crash with injuries involving a tractor trailer. Looks like the left lane closed on that one. 70 westbound past Adelaide. Crash blocking the left lane. A little busy there. And they're also working with 170 westbound at the off-ramp to Cary. This report sponsored by Blindster. Need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Blindster blinds, easy to install, guaranteed to fit, too. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
So Mark Mantovani will be the Republican candidate for county executive. We'll see what Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft has to say about that at 9:41 on Friday.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Do you have a property that is more hassle than is worth? Hi, this is David with House Sold Easy, and I buy houses cash. If you own a property and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-293-3000. Do you own an ugly property, a behind on mortgage payment property, a lazy tenant that won't pay rent property, a too much junk and clutter property, or even a, hey, I'm curious about a fair cash offer property? Well, don't worry. I buy them all, and I want to make you a fair cash offer. Call me at 314-293-3000.
Americans are tired, frustrated by a stalling economy, inflation, and disintegration of trusted institutions. Millions of Americans are waking up to a country they don't recognize. And while they struggle to raise their families and pay their bills, the media and corporations are telling them they're what's wrong with the country. Thankfully, there are some companies that still believe in America. And when we stick together, greatness follows. Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative cell company, is on the front lines fighting for the sanctity of life, religious freedom, and the Second Amendment. They have broad nationwide coverage through multiple major networks, giving you crystal clear coverage, minus the woke propaganda supported by the major carriers. Go to patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT. They have plans for any budget, and their U.S.-based customer service team is ready to help. Veterans and first responders save even more, so make the switch today. Use the offer code RADIO and get free activation. That's patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com, or call 972-PATRIOT.
What happens next?
Oh, I think we're in a recession.
Happens right here.
I really still think there's a huge wave of discontent, and people are going to want to throw the bums out who have caused all this inflation.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Can I just pause here? Susie, you're looking very fashionable today.
Fashionable?
There it is.
She's a Cardinals fan.
Cardinals.
I also...
Oh, is that a Cardinals jacket too? It's kind of folded over.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. Got
And
the
I have
birds on the
Cardinals
back.
earrings, but I had to take them off for the show because they hurt when I've got my
Okay.
headphones on. So
You're going all out.
My wife has special earrings for when we go to a game. They're just great big baseball pattern. So it looks like little mini
Mhm.
baseballs hanging from her head. So you're going to the game tonight?
yes, we are.
And I haven't seen the lineup. I don't know if Pujols is in the lineup tonight.
I haven't looked.
They haven't submitted him yet. I've got an app that
It tells you.
that tells me who's in the lineup with that, but I don't think the deadline has passed for
Probably
that
not.
as well. And so I've actually got family coming in, and they're going to the game tomorrow.
No, tomorrow I'm going to the Mizzou game.
Oh, the football game. Who are they playing tomorrow?
Abilene Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, in Texas.
Yeah. So they hopefully will beat them.
They should.
lost terribly to K-State.
If they don't.
So yeah, I'm going to be footballed and baseballed out. By the end of
There
the
you
weekend.
go. Yeah, I've been to a lot of games, a lot more games this year than I normally
This is only my second.
get to. I don't know how many I've been to this year. Good seats?
Well, yes, they're along the first baseline.
Oh yeah, you get the
station seats.
Yeah, the seats I sit in sometimes too. But yeah, those are really good seats. And the demand for Cardinals tickets, obviously, with Albert Pujols getting close to 700 home runs, with obviously the Cardinals with what a 7.5 game lead in the National League Central, and there's 18, 19 games, something like that left for the Cardinals. So,
is there a magic number still?
There is.
There is.
I don't know what it is. It's like probably around 11 or 12.
That sounds right. You know what?
Especially since they lost last night to the Brewers.
KSDK actually has a magic number tracker, but I just realized that I'm not going to do it because they have that stupid autoplay.
Pop-up autoplay will kill you.
Yeah, so I'm not doing that. But there is a magic number, and I think it's around 11.
Yeah,
11 or 12, something like that. But
in that neighborhood.
Yeah. So a lot of fun out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to get to another 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
Before the end of the
Well, it should be
season.
a great night out, like weather-wise.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to be warm today, but it'll cool off over in the evening hours. But I'm ready.
Yeah, we're in the because Susie walked in and she is like cardinaled out,
decked out,
ready to go for the game tonight, which is what 6:45, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a way. It's a ways away, but
you're ready now. You're like gearing up for this now.
I am. I'm excited.
And it's just second game you've been to?
Yeah, just this year. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Well, with the price, of course, I was reading some of the articles that it's all supply and demand.
Yes.
As far as the tickets. Obviously, we've got the Cardinals advertise on this radio station, so we've got a bit of a relationship with them, which is awesome. And
we welcome those relationships.
Absolutely, we do, without a question on that. But we mentioned yesterday how much the city is community, the whole region, just kind of coalescing around the Cardinals. We do that every year because it's a baseball town.
Yeah.
But there's something just very, very different and special this year. So when you get to go to a game. It's funny because I used to go to games in years past. I'm like, come on, this much for a burger?
Right.
Are you kidding me? This much for a bottle of water? This much for, and now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just, whatever, $17 burger, whatever,
Well, if you're going to go, you just have to kind of make peace with the fact that you're going to spend the money. It's like when you go to the casino, you just know I'm going to spend this amount of money and that's what it's going to be. And I'm going to have fun, by gum.
Yeah. I went 2 weeks ago with my wife, my brother and his wife. And, my wife, she said that I would be able to drink a couple of beers and she would drive. And so she kind of
very thoughtful of her.
Set me up with the guy that goes down and get, how the callers go out and they go down, cold beer here.
Yeah.
And I started talking with him and that was a wrong move.
Oh yeah. He's got you then.
He's got me.
Totally got you then.
Did you have some beers, Ken?
I had a couple. I had a few.
Couple 3?
Yeah, I did.
4?
I had more than I normally would even think about having. And yes, my wife drove.
Yes.
And it was a great time. We won 8-4, so it was a fantastic time.
Now, if you go in, of course, now I think they ask you, it's like, well, do you want the 12 ounce or the 2,000 ounce? Do you want
the big gold version of beer?
Yeah. Do you want the little tiny one or do you want the entire barrel?
Right.
Of it, of course, and so many people are like, well, you have to give me the big one. It's only a few dollars more. I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, I usually try to pace myself.
Yeah. Well, at least
I don't want it to get warm.
No. Well, you do that, but what I think you should do is you get one, if you're going to drink a beer, get that, and then grab a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You told me about that.
Yeah,
I should have done that.
Then you're pacing yourself.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
Because I think they cut off sales in what?
You're also making several trips to the restroom. Just be prepared for that. That's okay, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
And even though I had a few beers, I didn't act like one of those dummies. I actually did pace myself, and because of the excitement of the game and eating food, it worked out very well.
There's
it was
nothing
very
worse
nice.
than a ballpark dummy.
I know.
Oh, I've seen a couple of those.
We were sitting by one.
Or the people behind you that have to have a conversation the entire time that has nothing to do with the game and do it loudly. Yeah, that gets really annoying.
Right.
And talking on the phone too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I actually, the first game I went to this year, I was sitting kind of where you're going to be sitting.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen this in person, but some guy right in front of me climbed over the wall and ran out onto the field.
Oh boy, was he naked?
No, thank
Wasn't
God.
a streaker. Okay,
Thank
that's
God.
good.
No, he was not. He was greeted by a St. Louis County police officer. Because they have like several jurisdictions that are in the stadium there. Got himself, I'm sure, banned from the stadium.
He was probably easier to corral than the rally cat and the rally squirrel were.
Yes. And I saw another guy, same game. And you always know when the troublemakers are going to happen because they're the ones who have to constantly draw attention to themselves.
Oh, yes.
And he was the drunk idiot you're talking about, Ken.
Yeah.
And you just knew him. He just had that weird look about him. You know, it was like the 1980s wraparound, like Oakley glasses and the mullet and, and I'm like, I know he's got like an old Camaro parked out somewhere. And
you're judging a book by its cover.
I was like, did I go to high school with that guy?
Probably.
But he actually threw his beer.
Oh, what a waste.
Yeah.
That's
Holy
alcohol
cow.
abuse on top of being rude.
Yeah. And of course, then he scampers back to his seat and everybody stands up and they're pointing at him. And they're like, this guy isn't going anywhere. But I saw something a week or so ago when I was at a game that I'd never seen in person as well. You weren't here when I told the story. A family, parents of like 3 little kids. I'm talking like 3 years old, kind of. And somebody threw, the baseball up to us, one of the players who was warming up in between innings. They handed it to the little boy. And of course, the dad's like really proud, really excited. The boy just chucks it back at the player, throws it back on the field.
Well, because that's what little kids do.
Yep.
That's right.
All right. Catch.
It was pretty awesome, actually. All right. NewstalkSTL's newest host, JT. Jason Thornton, going to be with us at 8:05 right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Are you downright disgusted with the corruption of our Democratic leadership at St. Louis City Hall that's been reported in the news?
Hi, this is Mary Teresa McLean, chair of the Republican Party City of St. Louis. If you want to put our city that we all love back on track, you must get involved. If you're ready to be part of the solution, we invite you. Come and meet us. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
The Cardinals celebrate the newest pro sports team in town, STL City SC. On Saturday, September 17th, the Cardinals host the Reds. And that night, 25,000 fans, 16 and older, will take home a Cardinals soccer jersey presented by Wells Fargo Advisors. St. Louis is officially a soccer and baseball town. That's Saturday, September 17th. For tickets and more info, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Yachty, Albert, and Waino. All season long, we've been celebrating these iconic Cardinals legends. The Legends Bobblehead Series begins on Sunday, September 18th. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home an Albert Pujols bobblehead. Salute Albert's return to St. Louis with this unique bobble that connects with separate Yachty and Waino bobbles given out during the final regular season weekend. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A neutral third party has been appointed special master to oversee materials seized by the FBI in its raid on former President Trump's Florida home. Raymond Deary is a retired federal judge and a former federal prosecutor agreed to by both sides, although the Justice Department opposes the involvement of a neutral third party. Mr. Trump tells a Salem radio network the FBI raid was not only unconstitutional, he says it was a big political blunder on the part of the Biden team, a maneuver that he predicts will backfire on the Democrats in November.
I don't think the people are going to stand for it. If you noticed, the poll numbers are the highest they've ever been The people are not going to stand for this stuff. They've weaponized Department of Justice and FBI.
Mr. Trump set to hold another of his signature Save America rallies tomorrow, this one in Youngstown, Ohio. There is more shocking evidence of Russian atrocities in Ukraine. A mass grave has been found in the country's northeast.
The grave was discovered close to Izium in the Kharkiv region. Russian forces left Izium a little more than a week ago as Ukrainian troops successfully reclaimed swaths of territory in the region. AP journalists visited the site, walking past hundreds of wooden crosses, most of them marked only with numbers, no names. Ukrainian soldiers surveyed the site with metal detectors. Izium resident Yuri Korchatenko remembered the Russian invasion of his town. His wife was killed by a cluster bomb. We fell down. I wasn't hurt, but she was wounded in the heart. The shrapnel went straight through her. I'm Karen Chamas.
On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a lower open. Right now, the Dow futures down 318 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
There is no country in this world that a black person would rather be. Unless, of course, they grow up in this country.
Uncle Tom 2 from Larry Elder and Justin Malone uncovers the Marxist plot using false racial tension to demoralize America.
They're fed a lie that is so deceptive. They actually believe the opposite of that which is true.
The first act in organizing our people is to let them know who they are.
Uncle Tom 2. Watch on demand or buy the DVD at salemnow.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Northbound on 270, heavy and slow, 55 up to Tesson Ferry. They're working with a crash that did have the right lane blocked. 44 westbound at Pacific, the viaduct exit, mile marker 257. We've got a crash involving a tractor trailer and a passenger vehicle. The left lane is closed there. 55 northbound Germania up through Virginia is heavy and slow, but that's not nearly as bad as it normally is. 64 eastbound, it's McKnight to Big Bend. 64 west is Hampton to Big Bend. And they're clearing a crash on Route M east of I-55. This report sponsored by Lowe's, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid 90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by All Solutions Pest Control, 636-486-7888, or visit them at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
When things are uncertain, you want to make sure you have got the best and most trustworthy on your side. And when it comes to buying or selling a home, that's Rodney and Jen. Mike Ferguson here for the Walner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway, of course. Give them a call, 314-810-SOLD. When my wife and I decided we wanted to buy some property, not even right here in St. Louis, in southeast Missouri, to kind of get a getaway cabin. We didn't think about anybody else. We called Rodney and Jen. I called 314-810-SOLD, exactly the number I hope that you'll call, and just got their advice to start with. I went, makes sense. They gave me some fantastic advice that turned out to be very, very, very timely. And so that's who we're working with. I wouldn't work with anybody else. So if you're buying a home, you're selling a home in particular, they have so many pre-approved buyers that they do guarantee that you are going to get an offer. So call Rodney and Jen, 314-810-SOLD. Matter of fact, even if you're just thinking about making a move, making some kind of decision for any reason, Just talk to them. They will give you the advice that you need, and you're going to understand real fast. This is who I want working with me. This is who I want fighting for me. 314-810-SOLD. There is a big, big difference. Rodney and Jen Wallner, that's who I use for my real estate decisions. You should too. 314-810-SOLD.
There are no words to describe it. The isolation, the boredom, the loneliness. If you're wondering where your teenage son or daughter's spirit went, you're hardly alone. The past year has been devastating, especially for them. But here's the good news. They might just find it again, playing high school sports. Workouts that stimulate, teammates and coaches that care. The sense of belonging so many of us have been missing lately. That's what school sports are all about. The sense of achievement is real, and the camaraderie is hard to beat. Coping with uncertainty is difficult, but school sports can help the teenagers in your family start feeling like themselves again. Encourage them to give it a try. High school sports, it's so much more than a game.
This message presented by the Missouri State High School Activities Association and the Missouri Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me? Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Just found an update to this situation with the busing the illegal immigrants to different cities. That completely refutes one of the leftist talking points on this. We'll get to that. Probably do that right around 8:20 as well. But just want to put that out there that I found something very interesting over the last few minutes.
Great.
It is 8:07. Got redstate.com's Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. Ken Williams is here. And we have ourselves a new local show right here on News Talk STL debuting tonight.
Very exciting.
So let's talk to Jason Thornton, affectionately known as JT, who joins me right now. Hey, welcome to News Talk STL, JT. You're kicking things off tonight. It's not like it's your first show. You've been doing this on streaming platforms for a long time, but you're bringing it to News Talk tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thanks, Mike, for inviting me on. But yeah, I'm still excited. Even I'm probably over 200 videos in, and live broadcast and doing this show for a while now, a little over a year. But I'm still super excited because this is my first time being live on the radio, giving people an opportunity to call in and have some fun.
Yeah, and I know that you're by trade. You do finance, and you work with money. You work with personal finances, and so you're a money man. But this isn't one of those stuffy just money shows. It's like, no, this stock is this, and look at this chart, and that's not what I'm getting. That's not the vibe I'm getting from you, man.
No, we're not out here trying to sell people any financial products. All right, just a long commercial. Pocket watching with JT is, a two-sided thing. Obviously, I'm allowing people to call in and give me their personal finance questions, and I'm doing the best I can to give them good, smart money tips to help them in their everyday life. But there's this fiscal conservative rant. Like tonight's premiere show, I'm doing in the first hour, it's, illegal immigration hurts the Black community. Changed my mind. I have callers from all over the country, and now that I'm on News Talk STL, hopefully I have callers from the St. Louis area that can chime in, and we can really get to the real pocketbooks of how illegal immigration affects us.
JT, you said something interesting there. You talked about fiscal conservatism. And when I first kind of became acquainted with conservatism myself, that was what really drew me in, was the fiscal conservatism aspect of it. But we don't seem to see a lot of that these days in terms of touting policy. How is it that you package that when you're trying to convey your message to your audience?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to being common sense. So I'm a certified financial planner. 90% of my job is working with clients, trying to figure out what's the best move with their money so that they can achieve their goals. I also represent clients before the IRS for appeals and collections and tax settlements. And at the end of the day, if you were to run the government the way that I was taught in college how to run your personal finances, you would be in a better situation. You can't run on deep debt. You can't continue to commit money to things that you have not found a way to fund. You can't just say, I'm going to keep using my credit card without any type of plan of how you're going to pay the bill when it comes due. And when that really hits a person and they understand, okay, yeah, this is how money really works, then it's easy to show them this is how government should work.
Of course, there have been a few people decided to follow the government model and say, I'm going to print my own money, and they end up in jail.
Doesn't end well.
Exactly. They get a visit from the Secret Service. Yeah.
Precisely. All right. Jason Thornton, JT, the show launches tonight, and we'll get that information out here again in a few minutes. So you got obviously the public policy thing, the politics and the money and the financial advice. And there's a lot of people, JT, who say, man, just keep all that stuff separate. But you're right. It's linked. I mean, the policy, the politics, it affects, we know this more so right now than other times in history. It affects every single person's personal finances and your bank account in your house.
Right. It's like, I don't understand the mindset of how you can divorce the way that you are spending your money, the way that you're trying to achieve your financial goals, to achieve the American dream, and divorce that completely from your politics, or at least policy. More important to me is policy than trying to pick a team. But the way that you set up your policy and the way that you pick people to represent policies that's going to affect your pocketbook, it has to have some relationship with the way that you think money should be spent, the way that you think that the reward system of public policy should actually hit you.
Economics are all about the incentives.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that really affected me personally is that I do a lot of pro bono work in my field. And I work with clients who are low income and things of that nature. And I just discovered, over the time, most of these clients that I was working with, they were more focused on what did they need to do to make as much money as possible, but not end up losing these government benefits and welfare. And they did not care about really getting out of that low income bracket. It was just, okay, how much money can I make to stay on welfare? And the light bulb just went off and said, hey, these programs do more harm than help, because they make people dependent on the government and almost creates really a sense of entitlement where I deserve to be on this program as long as possible. It becomes a generational thing.
JT, there's been a lot of coverage in the news lately about the 87,000 new IRS agents that are going to be brought on board with the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. And I know you mentioned that one of the things that you do is help people out when they're trying to deal with the IRS. What's your perspective on that addition of so many agents?
Yeah, I mean, when you're bringing in 87,000 new employees to somewhere, then you expect a whole lot more work. We're going to see a lot more audits, collections. There's going to be a lot more letters going out and people getting either visits to their businesses. My suggestion to anybody, be a small business owner or not, you need to make sure that you have your financial stuff in order, paperwork in order, keep things on file, because the rate of audits are going up. And for, people in my business of representing people before the IRS, it's going to be a lot more business for us because they are trying to raise revenue at all costs.
All right, just last minute or so we've got here, JT. What's the format? Obviously, you said a lot of call-in opportunities as well. You do guests, you do your takes on things. Obviously, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, so the first hour is the Change My Mind segment. I'm going to put out a fiscal conservative statement, and I'm going to allow people to either call in and change my mind, or they can call in and explain, why they think I'm right. The second hour is going to be also dedicated to more like a Freestyle Friday. I'm going to allow people to call in and say, hey, this is what's going on right now with me financially. This is how much I have in savings, or I don't have in savings. This is how much I have in debt, or I've got an opportunity to do this with my money. What do you think I should do? And I'm going to give you the best possible advice that I can without trying to sell you something.
All right, and you're on from what time to what time tonight?
I will be on from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Make sure you guys just focus in, call in, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun.
All right, JT, welcome to News Talk STL. Good chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
All right, the number here, 314-912-1019. One of the left's talking points on illegal immigration that JT was just talking about being refuted already. I'll tell you what the update is just ahead right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Try to make me stop. Inspiration.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
All at once depart, no destination. Making cold my
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com.
I see your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
You want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
144 westbound at Viaduct Pacific, they just cleared a crash. Give that a minute or so and it'll thin out. 270 northbound, heavy and slow, 55 up to Tesson Ferry. There's a crash that's blocking the right lane there, but that hopefully will be cleared by the time you get up there too, and that'll start to thin out. Those vehicles are up on the tow trucks. Just had a crash come in at Graham Road in Lindsay and Florissant. Otherwise, things appear to be relatively quiet. This report sponsored by Lowe's. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Don't miss the energy savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
Blue Oyster Cult. Live in concert. One of the most iconic bands in classic rock. Blue Oyster Cult with special guests Mark Farner's American Band and Head East. Tonight at 7, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office, at the Family Arena, or at Ticketmaster.
Get ready, because here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute to the Beatles. Entertainment Tonight says seeing the Fab Four is just like seeing the Beatles. The Fab Four takes you through the 60s with the music that changed our lives. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Saturday, October 1st at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Fox News commentary.
TV ratings for the Emmys dropped to a new all-time low. You know what they say, go woke, go broke. I'm Tommy Lahren, more next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
Average American doesn't want to watch whiny, overpaid Hollywood liberals grandstand at award shows anymore, and it shows. NBC's 74th Primetime Emmy Award show averaged under 6 million viewers, a new low for a broadcast that has been steadily dropping to new lows over the last 4 years. Meanwhile, the Monday Night Football simulcast on the same night was up 17% from last year's franchise opener, the biggest cumulative audience since 2009. So people are watching TV, they just aren't watching award shows. Sports, like entertainment, has gone woke in many ways, but due to the constraints of playing an actual game, even whiny athletes aren't able to showboat their politics during the event. But the same is not so for these award shows, where simple thank you acceptance speeches have become soapbox moments for celebrities to grandstand and virtue signal. The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the ratings. Go woke, go broke, and unwatched. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I think they're trying to attack the American people.
Live and local.
Gabe, Mike, Ken, you guys are my morning cup of mental coffee. I love the show. Definitely a convert from the old one.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
One of the arguments we're already hearing from the left, from the president to congressional Democrats to governors of blue states, they're saying that the governors of Florida and Texas and Arizona, that they're using illegal immigrants as pawns. How cruel! How dare! This is inhumane. You're just throwing them on buses. Gavin Newsom's even gone as far as to say they should be investigated for kidnapping. Bill Malugin from Fox News, he is pointing out that, because he's doing a lot of the covering of the border, he says the immigrants are not lured onto the buses. They're not being forced on. Everybody involved actually signs waivers and picks which city they want to go to. We didn't hear that in the mainstream coverage.
No.
Imagine that. He says that some say they're happy to have the free ride. I imagine so. The head of a non-governmental organization in Eagle Pass, Texas, told CNN that the immigrants go willingly. And of course, they're all about the free ride.
Sure.
And so they're probably getting more choice from DeSantis and Abbott than they're getting from the Biden administration, just putting them on a plane in the middle of the night and shipping them somewhere.
Now, see, I wondered about that when you mentioned that Gavin Newsom was talking about kidnapping charges and everything. I saw the video they were interviewing. It was, I think, maybe even Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about, they were coming off the bus. They, you speak English? And he spoke a little bit of Spanish, and he would ask them questions, and they would say, "Oh no, I think it's wonderful that we get a ride here, to this city. It's awesome."
Well, what happened is Senator Bob Menendez is quoted as saying they lure people like human traffickers onto buses and unknowing where they are going to, and that's just flat out false.
Yeah,
and that's one of the narratives that the Biden administration and JB Pritzker, some of these people, are one of the narratives is that they're just grabbing these people, throwing them on a bus or a plane and not telling them where they're going and dropping people off in the middle of the night. And it's, it's just using these human beings as pawns. And, they are, it is a political statement.
It is a political
and
statement.
I'm good with it.
But yeah. And human traffickers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they extract a price to transport people, and then they own those people until they get their money out of it. I don't think that's what's being done here.
No.
Wait a minute. Are you arguing that the hard left is being dishonest, Susie Moore?
I am.
I'm arguing that I maintain it every day that the Democrats, these Democrats anyway, today lie. They lie. They just lie.
You have any pearls over there?
No.
I need to clutch
Nothing
them.
to clutch. No.
Okay.
No.
Of course, Ron DeSantis puts this really, really well because he's being asked about this. And he points out that there's a hypocrisy issue going on with the left, obviously, but another, he calls out not just Biden for not doing the job because it's a conservative versus a liberal thing. This is truly a national security issue, and we'll get to the whole fentanyl aspect of this here in just a second. But listen to what Governor DeSantis had to say.
Beating their chests when Trump was president, saying they were so proud to be sanctuary jurisdictions, saying how bad it was to have a secure border. The minute even a small fraction of what those border towns deal with every day is brought to their front door, they all of a sudden go berserk, and they're so upset that this is happening. And it just shows you, their virtue signaling is a fraud. Okay. They are supporting policies that are just frankly indefensible. It is not defensible for a superpower to not have any control over the territory of its country, over the borders of its country. And he inherited a situation where you didn't have this happening. And yes, we needed to build the wall. There was more that we needed to do. He reversed the Trump policies, knowing what would end up happening. And, one of the reasons why we want to transport, because it's expensive if people are coming here. It taxes social services and all these other things.
Okay, and that was obviously Governor Ron DeSantis.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Don't get ahead of myself. Can't get over my skis here a little bit. And he's 100% right now. As on a related note, you've got several attorneys general around the country as well right now. Susie, I think you've seen this story where they are asking the White House to declare fentanyl basically a weapon of mass destruction, basically is what it is.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see the White House do that. You're not going to see Congress do that while it's under Democratic control, because if you do that, then they have to answer the question, well, this is basically all coming from south of the border. This is coming through the porous southern border. So they would be admitting another national security issue of the porous open borders platform that they've had. And they're not gonna cop to that.
Yeah. When you look at the numbers of the people that are being affected by fentanyl, the deaths, overdosing, that sort of thing, I mean, it's incomprehensible. And I just want to take a moment to say this. Yesterday was the six-year anniversary of my daughter's stepbrother overdosing on fentanyl. So that hits really close to home when people start talking about the human impact of that. And it's not being addressed. It's not being addressed properly.
Yeah, and this has been, the way that this has ramped up, talk about a spike, it has surpassed, I think, every other type of drug death. I mean, you got the opioids, which is related to fentanyl as well, depending on how they make it. And so this has passed up, name any other drug, and this has passed it in by twofold, I think.
I had a family member who had an issue with it for a long time. She almost died recently, and she's been battling this thing. And it was first heroin, but they're putting fentanyl in everything.
Yeah, right.
And there are an estimated 300 deaths a day from fentanyl. And it's coming, like you said,
coming from the southern border. I mean, that's
border.
not even disputable. It's coming from south of the border.
Here's the biggest problem that I have with all of it. The Democrats have had other things that they've done. Policy over life. I mean, that's what they do. They will take, like, for example, they would deny ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine as being an effective means of tamping down COVID, and that costs lives. Now they're willing to hide the idea that it's coming over the border so they don't have to talk about it, because that's policy driven over life.
I'm going to disagree just very, very, very slightly. I don't think it's so much policy as it is just partisanship and power.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. This is about loyalty to the party.
Yeah.
And even if there's a better idea out there, something that anybody with common sense can see needs to be done, if that means to say we were wrong and they were right, they're not going to do it, no matter what, even if people are dying.
Americans are dying. It's just a part of the plan.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, but it's inhumane to put
Inhumane.
people on a plane and send them to Martha's Vineyard.
Inhumane. 50 people to Martha's Vineyard.
Please
That's
be inhumane to me.
The politics and the policy that that results in dozens. How many people were in the back of that 18-wheeler? 53 illegals cooked to death in the back of an 18-wheeler a few months ago. That doesn't get the attention. Nobody's up in arms about that on the left. But you drop somebody off in Chicago, which says it's a sanctuary city and they want all the illegals they can get. Well, they get it and they can't handle it. That's inhumane. You take 50 of them, drop them off in one of the fanciest neighborhoods in the world, in the country. That's inhumane. No, it's not. It's just calling out your crap is what it is. That's
forcing you to live by your own rules.
Exactly.
I have to say this meme real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They had a thing, and I just saw it on my phone. I can't say where it came from, but it was, with McCloskey's in the front yard.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Okay, there was a picture of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Imagine that with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's faces superimposed on that
instead of Patty and Mark.
Yeah, of course, and in the background, of course, the sign saying Martha's Vineyard, and that just told you everything.
I saw one that was just as good. And it was the picture of like the big Martha's Vineyard, what I'm assuming is the big entry into it. Apparently they got a big sign that says Martha Vineyard, and they superimposed AOC doing her fake crying.
Oh, the fake crying at
from the fence, and they superimposed her in the front.
Our Friday morning cartoon of Jim Thompson is very similar to what you just described, Ken.
Oh, it's
He's got
so
the
funny.
Yeah.
Did you see the video also real quick? Kamala Harris walking out to see her new bus.
Oh, and they superimposed the that's
They
right.
superimposed it was some kind of Spanish tours or something like that,
Okay.
and then it had a conquistador or one of those mariachi dancers in front,
Okay.
and she's like, "Oh, my new bus is here!" And she's just clapping.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was good.
All right, 314-912-1019. The school year is back in session, which means cancel culture is back in session, which means you can go to the gym, you can go to the coffee shop, you can go to the bar, or you can go scream and shout at somebody who may say something you disagree with. It's just college life.
Sure.
Happened again to one of the Fox conservative hosts. We'll tell you who and where it happened right around 8:35 on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. The candidates.
We're going to win this campaign.
The issues.
Gas prices, Biden inflation.
The election news, analysis, and opinion you won't get anywhere else. Decision 2022 happens.
There's a backlash coming
on News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. After a second day of deliberation, the jury for the trial involving reality TV star Tim Norman was unable to reach a verdict. The jury is scheduled to resume deliberations today at 8:45 a.m. Norman is accused of being behind a murder-for-hire scheme to kill his nephew and co-star Andre Montgomery Jr. back in 2016. The North County Police Cooperative will not be renewing its service agreement with Pine Lawn due to late payments from the city. In a letter sent to Pine Lawn city leaders, the chief said payments from the city have been inconsistent and insufficient since the city joined the co-op in 2016. A 54-year-old Waterloo man pleaded guilty in federal court yesterday to stealing $339,000 while he worked for a St. Louis County floor covering company between 2014 and 2020. The man is facing up to 20 years in prison and $250,000 in fines for schemes that involved inflating work hours and submitting fraudulent invoices. And in sports, the Cardinals fell to the Reds 3-2 at Busch last night. The two teams play again tonight at 7:15 p.m. And the Blues and the St. Louis Sports Commission will partner with the University of Notre Dame to have their first City Shamrock Classic women's basketball game on November 12th at the Enterprise Center. The Shamrock Classic will celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX and the progress that has been made toward gender equality in women's athletics. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Everything is thinning out pretty quickly. We only had a couple of incidents, and those cleared here in the last few minutes, including northbound 270 at Tesson Ferry. Northbound 270 was just busy running up through Doherty Ferry in Manchester. Not much out of the ordinary at all. 64 eastbound even looks pretty good. It's busy approaching McKnight and Hanley, but it is moving. 70 westbound at Zumbell, they've already got the left lane closed for road work. The eastbound side is okay as you head for the bridge. The Poplar Street Bridge downtown looks good. This support sponsored by Lowe's, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Don't miss the energy savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning, but still mild across most of the area, and the humidity is not too bad. But a high temperature this afternoon of 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Heat index will be about 88, so not excessive on the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-60s. Again tomorrow, 88 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies and not too humid. But by the time we get to Sunday, there is a chance north of St. Louis for a few showers and thunderstorms, but a high in the low 90s, mid-90s at times next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you are on Medicare, you need to listen to this message. Open enrollment for all Medicare participants starts October 15th. This is a very critical time of the year for you to make needed changes to your plan.
This is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. Regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively. Find us on the web at mbhealth.com.
MB Health can also help small businesses find the perfect medical coverage for their employees. That's mbhealth.com.
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. That's 800-399-3701.
The news and talk.
This bill is the biggest step forward on climate ever.
That matters to St. Louis.
We are doing this responsibly. A lot of people have called this vote buying ahead of the midterm.
News, analysis, opinion. 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
A Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Did you have your favorite things to do when you were in college, guys?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would go to, when I started at Mizzou, I finished at what's now University of Central Missouri. But, that was where my last time I was on campus. My degree actually came from a different college. But I remember going to the student, the rec center, doing my workouts, playing basketball. That was kind of the fun stuff that I did.
I was thinking about quarter draws and dollar pitchers.
There you go.
I was thinking about handball tournaments that we had interfraternity at Mizzou.
Yeah.
And then we actually tried to start an intercollegiate team for ultimate frisbee.
Yeah.
But it never panned out. They wouldn't sanction it. So they wouldn't pay for it basically.
So yeah, my college career was less athletic and more social.
Social.
The University of New Mexico, apparently what the kids do out there is they go use force to try to stop people from saying stuff.
Well, sure, why not?
Yeah. So one of the websites I look at every morning when I come in and I'm looking at, okay, what are people talking about is obviously redstate.com.
Yes.
And Susie from, Susie's here from Red State. And Tommy Lauren from Fox News is supposed to give a speech last night.
Yes.
At New Mexico or University of New Mexico. And so that would be the, let's see here, Sun Devils.
I think that's right. Or no, is that Arizona?
Oh, that's Arizona. That's right. Yeah, New Mexico, Southwest. So University of New Mexico, whatever. And she's supposed to give a speech, and a mob of leftists started with the screaming. Normally I grab sound bites and audio, but I can't play this. I mean, it would just be one big long bleep.
Yeah.
That's all it would be. It's just a bunch of rabid leftists. And they literally forced their way and pushed their way through police. They did not have enough police officers, apparently, for the size of the mob that came. And Tommy Lauren had to be escorted out with some other people because it was an actual danger to her. And, I know we play Tommy Lauren's commentaries here on News Talk STL. She's not one of my favorites.
No.
I wouldn't even put her in my top 25 of favorite, conservative spokespeople. It's just personal opinion on mine. But what you've got once again is a situation where a group of people, and somebody obviously had to organize it, to say this person is not allowed to share an opinion.
Correct.
Which means other people are not allowed to hear an opinion.
No, we're going to shut it down.
We're back to this because you forget about it over the summer.
Right.
But here they are once again, and then we wonder why people leave public universities and colleges with the mindset that says, I'm going to cancel you if you dare live your life or say something I don't like.
Right. We cannot tolerate any other viewpoints.
Right.
By the way, the University of New Mexico's mascot is the Lobo.
Lobo.
Would not have come up
you
with
know what?
that.
I did know that.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't just that there were people protesting her speaking. That's always going to
Sure.
happen. It's that they actually got to the point where they were violent enough that the campus police had to call in the state police and the Albuquerque police to help them out. And Laren and the people that were with her from TPUSA, and I think her dad was with her, they had to be escorted to a safe place in the building, and they had to stay there for about 45 minutes until the rest of the police could come in and secure their safety.
What kind of weak mind? I mean, I'm talking about a weak person says, I am so angry that somebody may hear something I disagree with, that I am willing to use force and violence to stop them from being allowed to speak. What kind of weak human being do you have to be?
One who's terribly insecure in their positions and can't acknowledge that.
Right.
I'm going to date myself here a little bit. When I was down at Mizzou, we were talking about Mizzou. My fraternity and I, most of the guys in my fraternity went to protest the Iranian speeches they were putting on in front of Jesse Hall. They were just out in front of Jesse Hall, just saying, you need to unite with Iran. And this is during the time just before Ronald Reagan was going into office. And I had a sign that said, nuke Iran now. And when I put that thing up, all the police, all the cameras started going off. And I thought, I'm a target. Now, keep in mind, back then, when you did that, you were protesting. That's all. We no violence, signs and all. Yeah. But there were police everywhere. Where were the police on this situation?
There were some there, just not enough.
Not enough.
Definitely.
That's one of the problems.
And something that Tommy pointed out she did an Instagram live after this happened to kind of tell everybody what happened. And something that she pointed out that I think is a very valid point is, look, set aside what you think about her personally, because a lot of people don't care for her, but a lot of people do, whatever. Regardless of that, she said there was a bunch of students in that audience that were there to hear her speak.
Yeah.
Not only did they not get a chance to hear her speak, though they had made, signed up to do that.
Right.
They were in danger too, because of the level of violence and rhetoric that was coming out of the people that were protesting this.
I've been involved in bringing conservative speakers to St. Louis a number of times. And at one of the local universities here, part of that organizing, part of that plan, working with the university, is we had to have a security plan.
Sure.
Because we just assumed that there was going to be protesters. And listen, if you want to stand outside and say, I disagree, or you want to send people to say, hey, when that speaking time comes, you rake them over the coals. You make them answer questions. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
But we actually had to meet with law enforcement. And I can tell you some of them I've been involved with have been, there were plainclothes officers in the auditoriums. And I've had to have meetings where they have told me about the chatter that they have tracked. And this is all for a college and university campus.
Right.
This is the mindset where we're at.
Remember where free speech was supposed to be like sacrosanct.
Exactly.
Yeah. When we were protesting Iran, we were protesting because we had Americans who were hostages there. I mean, that was a real thing. This situation here where it's ideological, where you can't speak or else we're going to beat you because you're saying something we don't like. Why do you think when they get out in the real world now, they do the same thing? They get arrested and they wonder why.
This is the same crowd that equates speech with violence.
Right.
And talks about hate rhetoric, but only when it's coming from people they disagree with.
And if you don't get on board, then silence is violence.
Yes, that's true too. There's lots of violence.
Everything that might not agree with them. Notice I didn't even say disagree. Just might not agree is violence. So they use violence to shut down something that they
justify what they're doing, which is in turn violent.
But where are they getting that? You've got a government right now that says that we're terrorists. I'm a MAGA terrorist because I'm a domestic terrorist because I don't agree with his policies.
Yeah. Mazie Hirono, Senator, Hawaii, this week characterized the pro-life movement, what's going on with it right now, as a literal call to arms.
She said the word.
She said this is a literal call to arms. Well, what do you call a literal call to arms? A literal call to arms means taking up arms to fight for your point.
Right.
That's a sitting senator.
So where are they getting all of it? From the Democrat Party?
Well, certainly a lot of it.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. And that's why, what happens on campus doesn't stay on campus.
No.
And if you are so convinced that you're right, I mean, that's why I constantly invite liberals to call in the show, and some of them do. we get some calls from a couple different liberals.
Not enough.
I'd love to have more.
Sure.
Because I'm convinced I'm right. The worst thing that can happen if somebody calls in who disagrees with me, the worst thing that can happen is that I go, wow, that's a good point. I may have to reconsider that. That's
It
the
happens.
worst. That's the worst thing that can happen.
And you're not scared of that?
No.
It's not violence when it happens?
The best thing that can happen is I worked to defend my point and double down on why I believe I'm right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But these stupid college kids, and I not limiting it to them. There are plenty of stupid adults of all ages and, younger people. I mean, we're seeing some of the stuff on high schools as well that have adapted this. And it's part of the entitlement mindset that says there's one way and it's my way.
Yeah.
The leftist, will decide who's allowed to speak, who's not allowed to speak, who's allowed to express opinions.
What's disinformation?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It all links.
Yes, it does.
So as the school year has begun, we're going to see these kind of situations happen with more frequency. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it at some of the usual suspects.
It happened
here
at a
in
high
St.
school in
Louis.
Blue Springs last spring.
Yeah, that's right.
Also
That's
with
right.
TPUSA.
Yeah, with Turning Point. Exactly. All right, 314-912-1019. This is 94.1 and 101.9 News Talk STL.
You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Only one incident on the interstates at the moment. It is 64 westbound just before you get to Ballast. They're blocking one lane. Traffic is backed up to Spady. Northbound 270 looks a lot better now. 21 up through Gravois. They've cleared a crash that had traffic backed up. 70 westbound at Zumbel. Watch out for road work in the left lane. 270 eastbound at New Halls Ferry. Right lane's already closed. This report is sponsored by Lowe's, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Don't miss the energy savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
Columbo and Katie.
Governor DeSantis is sending Democrats a message after busing illegal migrants to this ritzy hotspot. We'll talk about this with Gabe Pfeiffer at 2:10 and get the weekend weather forecast at 2:45.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby. Only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
Call All Solutions Pest Control today at 636-486-7888 and learn more about our special $67 introductory offer, or visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. That's 800-764-2179.
Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
Talk radio made in St. Louis for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL.
Our responsibility.
News, analysis, and opinion.
To provide updated guidance.
At 101.9, 94.1, and NewstalkSTL.com. Like us on Facebook at NewstalkSTL.
When they caught me broken,
This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewstalkSTL.
Susie, did you see this situation with the North County Cooperative Police? And
No, I heard you talking about it earlier
Right.
about Pine Lawn.
Pine Lawn, yeah. So apparently Pine Lawn, the city government there hasn't been real good about paying their bills. So North County Cooperative, as everybody I'm sure knows, but it's a group of, pretty small suburbs in North County, and they've just pulled together for a police cooperative, which is a, smart way
Pool
to
their
do it, efficient way
resources.
to do it. And Pine Lawn, apparently, if they pay their bill, they pay it late often, and sometimes they don't pay the whole bill. And so what's happened is the North County Police Cooperative says they're not going to renew the service agreement with Pine Lawn.
Hmm.
They say, you know what? We can't
Right.
get,
We're not getting paid. We're not getting to do
we
this for
can't,
free.
we
Yeah.
can't get the subscription fee out of it. Try not paying your subscription fee when you're on Netflix. You're not going to have Netflix,
Right.
and so they're saying there's not going to happen. Pine Lawn has been part of the co-op since 2016. And so what's happening is the other cities. So, I mean, Beverly Hills and Delwood and, Uplands Park, Wellston, all these local small towns, they're the ones who end up, they still got to pay the bills for the,
Sure.
so they're just taking on more of it.
Kind of like the U.S. with the United Nations.
Right.
Or NATO.
Yeah, NATO. And so they're letting them know that we're out.
Mhm.
We're going to help you transition to something else, but you got to establish your own police department, or maybe they may have their own, I don't know, but they, I actually think Pine Lawn does have a force. So they're going to,
They did. It's been a while since I've been to
Yeah.
Pine Lawn, so I don't know.
they're going to have to beef it up or start something new, or maybe ask for or pay for more patrols from the county police.
Sure.
But I mean, this is what happens when you have mismanagement, or you just have something going wrong
Right.
in City Hall, is that affects your basic services.
Sure. Sure. And I wonder what the explanation is for the failure to pay the bills. I mean, are they having financial issues? It wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure some of those smaller municipalities really struggle with the revenue. And
Well-
of course, they're not supposed to be gaining their revenue by ticketing people yet.
No.
That's the primary source of it seems.
For many of them,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be illegal in Missouri, but I don't, know what the contract is, but if it's been going on like this for apparently years,
Yeah.
the problem is likely going to be either in the fiscal management, or if a city is struggling that bad,
Mhm.
that's, I mean, and there's an inverse correlation. City struggling that bad with its finances and revenues and things like that, that often means there's actually more police expenses and crime and
Right.
things like that. But what they're saying right here is just not paying your bills.
Well, no pay, no play.
Over the course of my life, I've not paid bills a couple times. You know what happens? I don't get the stuff.
Right.
Sometimes the stuff was electricity.
Yes, but you're not government.
No. So I went, oh, I forgot to pay a bill.
Yeah.
And I got my electricity.
Funny how that
back.
happens.
Yeah, funny how that happens.
Right.
And so, but it's not even just a matter of they're not paying enough or not paying at all. They're late when they do.
Yeah.
And they're
That's
short
a
when they
problem.
do.
That's
Yeah,
a problem.
that
And then
really
that's
is.
in turn hurts the citizens of Pine Lawn.
And that with these sort of emergency services, they don't want to do that, because you
No.
don't want to say, okay, we're going to pull police from you.
No.
But they're just saying you're going to find another way to pay for it, because we can't keep taking from other communities.
Right. Well,
That sucks.
it does suck.
Absolutely suck. Hey, Vic's here.
What's up?
Hey, Vic.
How's everybody?
Yo, Vic.
Take a good look at Susie. I'll give you 3 guesses what she's doing this evening.
Are you going to the Blues rally tonight?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Cardinal gear. Well done, Susie
Yes.
Moore. Maybe you'll see 698 tonight.
I'm hoping. I don't know if he's in the lineup, but I'm fingers crossed.
Oh, you guys, let me look. I've got
Yeah, Mike was telling me the lineup wasn't out yet last time he looked.
this is,
so.
it's really bad. I've worn this eye patch now so long. My phone, when I light up, it actually recognizes my face.
Your face with the patch?
on now at this point.
That's good.
Let me see here. So let me see here. I don't think lineups have not been submitted yet.
It's still early.
It is early.
Well, go Cards.
That's right.
Yes.
I mentioned I've got a couple of my cousins coming in town tomorrow, and they were desperately hoping that they'd be there for number 700. So even if Pujols is in and he hits one tonight, then the best they could do would be 799. But
Well,
maybe
he could hit 2 tonight.
there you go. If he hits 2 tonight, then they could possibly be there for tomorrow. But I suspect that Busch Stadium's gonna be packed.
It will be for the rest of that's it.
Yeah.
The rest of the way.
I think
you're
so.
right.
It's gonna be really packed. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Playoffs are going to be fun.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Tickets went on sale, I think, or going on sale today.
Are they?
Playoff tickets?
Yeah, no, just for the season ticket holders or for everybody?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I just saw the cryon up there that said Cardinal tickets going.
Nice. Now we don't know who they would play or where they would end up in the whole thing, but they would probably end up playing, actually, possibly the Brewers because they're going to get one of the wild card teams.
Right. I don't like to talk about it until they've closed the deal.
Yeah, they've restructured how
I
playoffs
don't like to
happen.
jinx it.
They've added teams to the playoffs as well. So
more teams.
Yeah, I think there's not the one game playing anymore. It's a series.
Oh, really?
Playing, yeah.
No more one or out.
Right.
What do they say? One and in or
one and done.
One and done. One and done. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I actually like that it's not just a one game thing.
I hate the one game thing.
Yeah. So I like it, and I don't like to give Rob Manfred credit for anything because I think he hates the game of baseball.
Also, I come from an era when I was a young child where the only postseason was the World Series. That was it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
No playoffs?
No. 1969, the playoffs started. Up until then, you made it to the World Series or nothing.
So it's just based on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whoever won the National League or the American. That's what you talk about winning the pennant.
Right.
That's what you want. And the funny part was they didn't really care that much about the World Series. What they cared about was winning the pennant. That's what.
Well, sure.
Giants win the pennant.
Yeah. And
Giants win the pennant.
And so now obviously the game's grown so much that's a whole different thing, and it's all about the World Series. But yeah, back at that point, it was winning the National League or the American League.
Yep.
Of course, the one year we had the Blues versus the Browns. Or not the Blues, I'm sorry. That
was 1944.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cardinals versus
I know
the
that was
Browns.
before my time for
Yeah,
sure.
no, but we did have a baseball team called the Blues here way back when.
We did?
We did, absolutely.
I knew
That was
about
1944.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cardinals and the Browns, all the games are at Sportsman's Park. How cool is that?
Very
That
cool.
is, yep, everyone. All right, what's coming up, Vic?
Well, we have got a lot of stuff going on. First of all, Paul Cook's audiobook is now released. So we'll talk to him about that, see if we can get a little excerpt to play for you. Susie Moore, she
Who's
sounds
that?
familiar. She'll be in at 10:05. Jay Ashcroft, so many things to ask him. They did a long piece last night on Fox about Democrats putting $53 billion into ultra-right MAGA Republicans. Democrats putting money into to hope that the Democrat could beat that MAGA Republican in November. That could be a big backfire. But I'll ask Jay Ashcroft about that. He's an expert in elections. And Patrick Ishmael, Director of Government Accountability at the Show Me Institute.
Talk about a full-time job.
Yeah.
Government accountability.
Trying to hold government accountable. Yeah.
Job security. He's got
Yeah,
job
there's
security
always going to
forever.
be that.
I wonder if is he bald because he pulled all of his hair out?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Oh, man. Yeah, see, that actually goes back to the Claire McCaskill strategy with Todd Aiken.
Yeah.
I hope it backfires on him big time.
Yes, let's hope.
All right, Vic Borselli, 904, right here on 1019, 94.1, News Talk STL.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.